All right. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I set the link for Paul, so hopefully he'll get that. And in the meantime, hope everybody's doing well today. Hope you had a good Tuesday. It was really cold here. It was awful, disgusting. I would sue somebody if I could, just for the cold weather, but I can't. So hopefully we'll have Paul Fay on here. If don't hear from him soon, I'll just go ahead and change the advertisement on the tin, if you will. But hopefully we'll get the good guy on here. I think you guys will like Paul. Really, really nice guy. And hopefully we have a good conversation with him. Maybe we get in a game of pocket pennant run and let Paul call a couple innings here or something like that. And just whatever. We'll just play it by ear. So I've been doing a lot of projects here. And I want to thank, again, our both the longtime members of this family, going way back to guys like D. Scott Howard, Clinton Parks, and especially cousin Ken Castro, who's the guy that kept convincing me to keep this thing going. Two of the newest members of our family. It's all wonderful. I love learning about all your projects. I love sharing what I'm doing. I love collaborating with you guys, and it's just a lot of fun, even though a lot of times too it's a train wreck, and we kind of fall into talking about mob movies or ogling pictures of various famous female particles, what have you. So, yeah. So what do we got going on here? So I wanted to comment on something that somebody made in the comments last night, because one comments on comments. Somebody had he said it was so cool last night, and it was a last-minute decision to do an Ernie Harwell game late. I'd watched Mike Sports Time Machine do some strat baseball, and I thought, well, Ernie felt like calling a game, some APA. So did it, and this person wrote a wonderful, just talking about his memories of, listening to Ernie Harwell and George Kell, all the great Tigers broadcasters, and was talking about that, sort of hanging out with his granddad and all this kind of stuff, and his dad at baseball games and things like that. And, it's one of those things that I do know every day about baseball, but it's the thing that it's still nice to hear how it binds us together, how it creates these wonderful stories, these narratives, memories, whatever you want to say. And so last night, just on a snap decision, somebody out there in YouTube land had a nice surprise and got to hear Ernie Harwell. And, this channel is about honoring the greats of baseball. And frequently that's why I do, especially, dead ball and 19th century baseball and 20s, 30s baseball. These guys are forgotten a lot of times. There's quite a few Hall of Famers that except the most erudite in here, or around the community would know some of these names. But even some of the great names, sometimes they're, sort of forgotten or sometimes played down. There's a YouTuber on here, I'm not going to mention names, who said that, for instance, dead ball baseball doesn't count, which is that's, sorry, man, but that's just a load of malarkey. They wouldn't be a patch on players today. Well, you know what? They didn't have the training. They didn't have, this understanding of modern, of kinesiology, of nutrition, things like that. But these were immensely talented people. So people like, and somebody's going to tell me that George Sisler and what he accomplished, Ty Cobb, when they talk about these guys that don't count, they're also talking about Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, who was a dominant pitcher in the dead ball era, and then, of course, reinvents himself as one of the most feared sluggers of all time. And certainly among all sports, Babe Ruth, the most well-known. But, to discount baseball before a certain latter date in the 20th century, I think is, I don't know. I think it kind of smacks of, I don't know. I don't want to use any harsh words. So anyhow, that is the idea. And a lot of times, I'll be doing games where people are going to be, who's this guy? Who's that guy? But, out of that grew our Ned McGreevy League. It brought some people back into baseball. So MV, if you're catching this, On the flip side, I remember you telling me quite a number of times that it was because of finding the Ned McGreevy League that you got back into baseball. And that makes me feel very happy. MV definitely knows his baseball, and I'm glad it brought him in. You know, a lot of guys were really, really engaged with the Ned McGreevy project, and that's going to be coming up again soon using Alapro 26. It kind of spun off into the Shanks League, thanks to Todd B and a wonderful idea that he had, and the Shanks League became Fields of Dreams, something all its own. So that's a great way how the community has collaborated to take one idea and to morph it into another and yet into another. Joey Perchi, no. So Joey, dead ball baseball is 1893 to 1919. So 1920 is the beginning of the live ball era. Although what's interesting, Joey, about the 1920s, especially the early 20s, is it's kind of, there's sort of still a transitional period going on there. A lot of dead ball tactics were still being used, dead ball strategy still being used in the early 20s. You know, Babe Ruth in 1920, 1921 was out hitting clubs collectively. He had more home runs as an individual. Then later on, of course, you know, you see the advent of Lou Gehrig, you know, and Jimmy Fox. Jimmy Fox's rookie year was 1925, hit his first home run in 1927. By the time Jimmy retired, he was second only to Babe Ruth. So, yeah, so, you know, and I use 1893, Joey, because that's, most baseball historians mark that as the beginning of what we know as modern baseball. So all the rules pretty much in place, you know, the foul strike rule, all those types of things. So, but they were still using a dead ball, and it was literally a dead ball. You could spit on it, scuff on it, all those kinds of things. Hey, cuz, hoping that Paul Fay will be awake soon and get this. I did send him the link. If not, I'll be changing this, and we'll do something or else. So welcome in, cuz. So 1924. So where you're getting in 1924, Joey, now the long ball, thanks to Babe Ruth, is becoming really, really popular at this point. So dead ball era, you're talking guys like Hannes Wagner, Ty Cobb, Speaker, Napoleon Lajoie, Walter Johnson, Cy Young, Bad Bill Dolan, Bobby Wallace, Zach Wheat, Rogers Hornsby. Now, some of these players like Hornsby, like Ruth, made the transition from dead ball to live ball. George Sisler is another. George Sisler, one of the greatest players of all time. If you feel like doing a season replay, one that I suggest, and you want to explore the transitional, those first couple years in the 1920s, would be 1922. Replay the St. Louis Browns. Baby Doll Jacobson on there, of course, the aforementioned George Sisler. Urban Shocker. An excellent team, finished just one game behind the Yankees that year. So 1924, that's the only year that the Washington Senators won a World Series. And that final game of the 1924 series is one of the gutsiest performances in baseball. Walter Johnson, and gets that World Series championship. The only time they won was 1924 with Walter Johnson. Parallel League says played in a sim draft league running through the late 1800s. Lots of big names then too. Yeah, and I mean, now we're getting into cousin Ken's alley here. So Michael King Kelly, Cap Anson, of course, Pete Browning, who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Tim Keefe, good God, Old Hoss Radbourne. So many, many, many great players in the 19th century. Bernie Strom joining us. So Bernie is another kind of great guy. Yeah, so Parallel League talking about the 19th century, and he was just mentioning through a lot of big names then too. And I ran through a short list, and I know you got tons more as well. 19th century baseball was pretty amazing, actually. You had Joe Montgomery Ward, who was more of a pioneer, but a good baseball player, Penn State grad. And I did his undergraduate at Penn State, I should say. God, so many players. Tony Mullane. We've got to kind of maybe separate ourselves from a lot of the prevailing sort of ethnic racial attitudes of the time. But if we look at these players and their accomplishments, my favorite, Sliding Billy Hamilton, there's another one. Sliding Billy Hamilton, he was the all-time stolen base king for a long time. Hey, Barbara, welcome in. Waiting to see if Paul Fay shows up. So start talking about Bernie. So Bernie, like Ken, knows everything about baseball. Bernie, so many great stories. He is a diehard Boston Red Sox fan. Saw Yaz play, was, Ted Williams. I mean, all these, right? Ted Williams at the end of his career, or toward the end of his career, certainly Bernie wasn't even around in 1939 when Ted Williams started. But, yep. So John Montgomery Ward also credited with raising the mound. Absolutely. So Ken brings up a good point there, guys, that at one time, the pitcher's mound was not a mound. It was a box, and it was, I think, 45 feet away from home plate, and home plate wasn't the plate that we're used to. So baseball through the 1880s and up to 1893 was in a constant state of flux as they were trying to get the game to what I think is perfection, or at least as close to perfection as we've ever gotten in a sport, at least. But playing 19th century baseball is fun. And I think the best sim to play 19th century baseball digitally is Action PC Baseball. The reason being that you have to play it pitch by pitch. But if you do, and if you want to play some 19th century baseball and get a real feel for it, play pitch by pitch, because what it will do is in different years, the 1870s, 1880s, what have you, what constituted a walk or what have you, strikeouts, things like that. Action PC Baseball will follow those rules if you play pitch by pitch. If you play just at bat, like most of us do play, then you're just basically playing 20th century baseball at that point. So good stuff. Parallel League says, seems like Saber has some great books, but yes, they do. Saber is... I say this, and Bernie, I'm going to get back to what I have to say about Bernie in a moment here. If you're not a member of Saber, I mean, it's so inexpensive. And I did a video, I think, last year on Saber. I'm going to do another one on Saber. It's so super cheap to join Saber. I mean, like the membership fees are negligible. And the resources on offer there through the Society for American Baseball Research, astounding. And plus, I'm pretty chuffed. Some of my videos are up in their gaming site, which is really cool. I was asked, and I'm like, yeah, take what you want. Are you kidding me? You guys are Saber. Did a presentation for Saber on baseball gaming as an adjunct to learning. I mean, Saber is their journal is fantastic, and it's basically it's a peer reviewed journal, much like you would find if you were in physics, you're in biology, what have you. The Knapp Rucker photo collection is off the charts. If you want to know anything about baseball, it's in Saber. And what I found, I've never claimed to be a baseball historian, just a student of the history of the game. I found out after joining Saber how much I don't know about baseball. Good God, it's crazy. So Cousin Ken says, Ward's role in creating the first players union, also unknown by the average fan. Absolutely. And of course, that culminating in the 1890 Players League. John Montgomery Ward understood. So I know we're just, again, trying to fill in some airtime till Paul Fay comes in. If Paul Fay comes in, and I hope he does, or I guess this is going to be a short little broadcast. Do you see like that redundancy, short and little? But anyhow, the reserve clause, right? So players in the 19th century welcomed it, right? Because they think, this is great. I'm assured of a job next season. this was a time, and even going through, even in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, even players were a lot of them had off-season jobs, but the idea of being able to be on a club, right? This is great. I'm going to go back and work my farm in Iowa, or I'm going to be digging ditches in Indiana, or mining coal in Pennsylvania. But I've got a job with the Cubs next year, the Orphans, or the White Sox, whatever. But John Montgomery Ward saw what a lot of players at the time didn't see, was that the reserve clause also basically held players in a sort of serfdom, if you will. So, yeah. Hey, there's Todd B. Welcome in, Todd. So, yeah. So, Cousin's saying, he says, amen. He says, after Saber, I came to the same realization. Join it, guys. It's amazing. Todd B., welcome in. In fact, Saber has coming up, and I promise I will check my email for you guys and get the link in here. Saber is going to be doing a Zoom interview with the Miller brothers, known as Miller Associates, the same guys who programmed the absolutely astounding APA PC Baseball for Windows broadcast blast. So I have to work that evening, but they do archive all their chats. I'm really looking forward to that, because they were doing AI before it was called AI. So looking forward to that. Ken says here he's a big John Montgomery Ward fan, partly because he was stellar with Providence. Yeah, indeed he was. So I'm going to check Facebook here, because I'd sent a message to Paul Fay. I want to see if he actually got it. Got to remember, he's 7 hours ahead right now. So it's what, 6:21 a.m. Cyprus time for him. And let me see. So he hasn't seen the message yet. So, okay. Hopefully he will, and we'll just come in. That would be nice. Hopefully everything is all right with Paul. Yeah. So there we go. A little bit of preaching about Saber. Join it. It's just great. It's great. And you know what? With the Society for American Baseball Research, you're going to learn things about the era, decade, whatever of baseball that you might think you know about, and you realize you don't. Whoa! So while I'm up here on the pulpit, chance to educate here a little bit, because that's what I'm about, man. You guys remember the glorious, big, fat, hernia-inducing baseball books, right? That, with the advent of the internet and things like, Retro Sheet and Baseball Reference and Baseball Almanac and Back to Baseball and all these great things, those big books have gone by the wayside. But I contend that as great as those websites are, they cannot ever replace what these big books could do. So I'm looking across it. Some of the books, I have my baseball library sort of next to my sleight of hand magic library. And I'm looking at the Baseball Chronicle, for instance. This is a huge book by Bert Solomon. Bernie has it. He knows it. And we are going to get back to Bernie. Trust me. Of course, Total Baseball you have there. The Biographical Encyclopedia of Baseball. Jonathan Light's Cultural Encyclopedia of Baseball. All of these great books and more are going to give you things that you're not going to get from Baseball Almanac and not going to get from Baseball Reference. The good news is eBay is your friend. So when I do those sort of player spotlights, and I'm reading from the Biographical Encyclopedia of Baseball, it's big, hardcover, 1,200-page book, good, heavy paper stock, glossy, great photographs, wonderful book, $7.50 on eBay. Picked up Bert Solomon's Baseball Chronicle, which is awesome. It's great. It's the most amazing history of baseball I've ever, the way it's laid out and everything. Big book. I mean, you put it on your lap, you feel its heft. Picked it up for $8 in pristine condition. So if you're looking for some good baseball books, you're tired of staring at Baseball Reference or Baseball Almanac or whatever, you know, spend a few bucks. These books are out there. They're waiting for you. I've got both volumes, the Stats All-Time Handbook, Stats All-Time Source Book. They're great for doing research. Just absolutely great. Parallel League says a book was titled 19th Century Stars, about 136 different players PDF. Version is free for Saber members. Yeah. Saber has so much free stuff. It's ridiculous. If you join Saber, guess what? You also have access to newspapers.com for free. So even if you're not doing baseball research, you can research other things. You have access to the sporting news. You have access to all kinds of things on Saber. John DFW joining us. I'm about to change the labeling on the tin here because I don't think Paul Fay is going to make it. So yeah, so Todd B says he has several baseball books that weigh a ton. Man, I'm telling you what, and you know what? I wouldn't get rid of them at all. I love them. I still refer to them. Even though, you know, Baseball Reference, Baseball Almanac, and all those great sites are just a click away, I love putting those books on my lap and just opening to a random page. You know, or Total Baseball, right? The first 1,000 pages of Total Baseball, it's not the pitcher and batter register. It's stories, it's chapters, it's the history of baseball. It's all these amazing things. Pick it up. I mean, even though the last one I think came out in 2006 or something, you've still got all that history that you can check out. But eBay is your friend for baseball books. Saber now has they have the Sean Lemon database, which of course that's a conversation. I would love to find that guy and get him on here and interview Sean. That would be amazing. That changed digital baseball gaming forever, ever. That changed the whole game. You know, prior to that, you were pretty limited in what you could do. The Sean Layman or Layman, however you want to pronounce his name, changed it all. Changed it all. So, you know what? Let's do this, and we'll give Paul a little bit more time. And then if Paul doesn't come in, okay, you know what? We're going to do this. I'm going to move you. I'm moving. You guys can see what I'm doing. I'm moving tabs all over the place and all that kind of stuff between two monitors. So here we go. Here's Saber. Here's the site. This is it. There's a member login and everything. The research collection. I mean, they've got their analytics conference. They've got the Weiss questionnaire. So check out Saber's new collection of nearly 100,000 self-completed surveys of professional baseball players from 1945 to 2000. So these are baseball players that filled these things out. Saber, of course, has conventions. There's Saber Scholars, so you can find networking events, scholarships, internships, career opportunities for students and young professionals. Got the whole Saber community going on here, Friends of Saber. And again, I haven't even logged in yet to the members part of the site. Here's the Baseball Research Journal. This is incredible. You get ebooks on here. It's really, really pretty insane what they offer. So Todd says that he picked these books up at a library sale for $1, and they were glad to get rid of them. Todd, I'm sure you were glad to get them, right? You were glad to get them. All right. So, guys, I am in the members hub now. And, man, there's just all kinds of stuff going on here with Saber. So, join it. It's fantastic. So, we could learn more about Members Home. Boom. There we go. And I'm going to sign in. Signing in. There we go. So now I'm in Saber, and look what you get, man. And I forget how much it costs a year. It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing. Check out Baseball Rhyme Time, says Parallel League. So give the gift of Saber, baby. There you go. How about it? So you can, this is all your stuff up here, renew, donate, whatever. Look, you got a whole Download free and discounted books. They have a complete digital library in here. They got the Sabre Baseball Biography Project, committee newsletters. If you can be on committees and stuff like that, super, super cool. Research resources. We'll look at that in a minute. Sporting news archives, and then World Collections archives. So you can connect with your chapters. There's conventions, events. You can buy, of course, other Sabre publications as well. This Week in Sabre. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy what you can do on here. But let's look here at some of their resources here just for doing baseball research. And this is pretty crazy. There's Corey Highfield. How you doing, Corey? I know everybody's waiting for Paul Fay. And boy, I'm going to be I'll be very sad. I hope he's all right. I missed his Facebook message by like a few minutes, literally. So hopefully he will check and come on, and then I can get him on here. So here you go. Here, how about this? You're looking for this is how crazy Sabre gets. There's a database of baseball team employees. These aren't the ball players or anything. These are actually people that worked in the front office, back office. You got everybody from team owners to ticket sales. How about that? And again, there's the Weiss Baseball Questionnaire collection, nearly 100,000 self-completed surveys of baseball players from 1945 to 2005, available online in the Sabre Research Collection. Sabre members must be logged in to view the forms. Click here to learn more. Paper of record. You can use ProQuest. So ProQuest is pretty big, guys. When I worked both at Penn State and the University of Michigan, I was teaching people how to use these fantastic research resources for academic purposes. ProQuest is a big one. And as a Sabre member, you have access to that. As I already stated, you have newspapers.com and then paper of records. So you have all kinds of stuff here that you can do. Look at this, the 1887 National Colored League Resource Guide. You have newspaper scans from 1897 to 1912. 19th century league and team resources in here. You've got from 1902 to 1919 Milwaukee Brewers research files, so not the Milwaukee Brewers of now, but whatever. There's a bunch of stuff here for Federal League. 2,000 cups of coffee. So players who appeared in the major leagues in 10 games or less in the first half of the 20th century. Sabre Archives here for you. American Association History Project files. Baseball America's Ultimate Draft Book. How about that? So this covering the amateur draft, of course. The Baseball Analyst Archives, 1982 to 1989. Every issue of Baseball Magazine from 1908 to 1920. Sabre's Baseball Index. Their Baseball Reference Encyclopedia. So here it says your first stop to learn about any baseball-related topic. Sabre and BaseballReference.com have merged their baseball research wiki sites to organize a single repository of collective baseball knowledge. Sabrepedia entries such as the Spread of Baseball Project and Collegiate Baseball Database are now available in the same place as the Bullpen's detailed histories of Negro League teams and minor league players. Visit sabrepedia.org to access the Sabre. So there you go. There's all their journals, right? The journal archives from 1972 to present. Okay. There's the bibliography committee, Sabre Bulletin archives. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. The Emerald Guide to Baseball. Yeah, Todd B, that's I love that yeah, we have to make that project happen. And we're not going to tell anybody yet about Todd's project, but he has this great idea for a really neat baseball league. And so Cousin Ken and I want to help him make that a reality. And this is going to be one of our, probably the principal resource for doing the research that is going to need doing for this, because this isn't just something that's going to be thrown together. You guys, you also A lot of people are like, what's to deal with sabermetrics? Well, there it is. You can learn all about sabermetrics. How about the home run log? So the Tattersall McConnell Home Run Encyclopedia has been licensed to baseballreference.com and publicly available there. Go to any player's page at baseballreference.com, click on the Finders and ADV Stats tab, and click on the home run log to access the data. Thing how to do baseball research. There's the Spalding Guide, John Spalding's Guide to Baseball Guides. There's Saber Landmarks baseball map. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. The Oral History Collection. 800 interviews with ball players, majors, minors, Negro Leaguers, All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, executives, scouts, authors, writers, broadcasters, and fans. Visit Saber.org Oral History. So you're getting way more. It's sort of like how I talk about the Craig Harris is giving away Pocket Pennant Run, the software. Saber, I really don't know how they keep the lights on. I really don't know how they do it. We've been talking about 19th century baseball. Preston Orham's Baseball from the Newspaper Accounts, 1882 to 1891. Protoball.org. The Saber Rucker Archive. This is incredible. In fact, we're going to go into this one. Let's go to the Rucker Archive. So this is, I'm going to bring this up a little bit. This is immense. This is a crazy, huge collection. So welcome to the Saber Rucker Archive, one of the most extensive collections of baseball images in North America. This collection will contain nearly 80,000 unique images from the roots of baseball in the 19th century up to current major league teams and players. These images represent more than 150 years of the sport and its growth from homemade fields with players wearing no gloves to the global pastime today played by hundreds of millions of kids and adults from Little League to the majors. We've digitized the entirety of the collection, are in the process of initial cataloging in order to make all the images available as part of the search engine on saber.org. The cataloging of this collection will be an ongoing member project managed by the Pictorial Committee Chair, Carrie Smith, and Saber member, Jason Schwartz. The catalog for the Saber Rucker Archive includes 27 distinct metadata fields, ensuring that the history contained in these images is recorded to the greatest extent possible. So there's a lot of work to do here, but you can search the archive for what's available right now. So let's see if we have, let me see, is King Kelly in here? Let's see. Again, a lot of work to be done on this, but let's see what we can find. Maybe we'll hit one, maybe we won't. So there we go. So we can look at the, let's have some fun here. Again, I don't see Paul Fay, so hopefully you guys aren't terribly bored about this, but I have to do this. All right, so here we go. There we go. How about that? So we got, this is the King Kelly and Dave Fouts 1889 E.R. Williams card game playing card. So here you go, guys. Here you go, the original cards and dice. How about that? So I don't know how many of you guys knew about this game. I didn't know this. But so this isn't just like, like a playing card with the baseball. This is you can see here, I probably have to cut this out and turn this around, right? Advancing batter to first and runners of any, one base each. So I don't know how this game was played, but this was from an actual baseball game in the 1880s. So how cool is that? Yeah, creating narrative is awesome, right, Todd? I'm glad you're doing that. Again, let's search somebody else. Let's search. How about Bill Dolan? We talk about Bill Dolan a lot in this channel. Bad Bill. So doing it. Search. There we go. So a lot of these things were reprints, but certainly cool to have them. But let's here we go. Let's do this. Bill Dolan Fan Craze 1906. What a reprint guy. Okay, there's just the back of it. So that's what they. Right. All kinds of really, really great things here that you can check out here. Just you want to just get a picture of Bill Dolan? Well, we get a picture of Bill Dolan. There he is. Now these are watermarked, so I mean you can purchase the image without the watermark, certainly. But even just to see pictures of these players and stuff like that, I think is really cool, and nothing wrong with that watermark. Hope Saber can or could add the Conlon collection. Yeah, I was looking at that. Boy, is that expensive? That's like really expensive. That Conlon collection is amazing. I know that the Library of Congress is working on cataloging it and archiving it, so hopefully someday it will be available via Library of Congress. But right now, the only way is to purchase it, and it is expensive. So there we go. There's a nice little picture here of Bill Dolan and a little write up. So this is they're not sure of the date. So it's gonna be some time when Bad Bill played. So here we go. Yes, okay. This is going to be around 1904, 1905. So shortstop of the champion New Yorks. So we know, right? It's New York Giants. After a throw to the infield, Dolan is one of the greatest ground coverers in the business and a very deceptive player, as he is much speedier than he appears in practice. I love that sort of, right. This guy was also, I mean, yeah, he was a very, very gifted baseball player. This is also a guy you would never, ever want to cross, Bad Bill Dolan. How about a cousin Ken? What about Bad Bill? All right. So I guess I've gone on enough about Saber, maybe. So much you can do and so much. So join Saber, man. We don't get it. There's no commission for Saber members to get people to join Saber, by the way. Yeah, you got to love Bad Bill. All right. So thinking we could do a baseball game, either in pocket pennant run or full count, or diamond mine baseball. I mean, we're on here. Might as well do a baseball game. I'm guessing Paul's not going to show up after all. So I'm going to edit this. So sorry, folks. Maybe Paul and I will be just, maybe we didn't collaborate or something well enough, or I have no idea. So I'm just going to say just some baseball. There we go. There. And people can't sue me for false advertising and sue me for my last $20 I got in the bank. There we go. Boom. Done. Save changes. Now it's just some baseball. So, yeah, I'm not, since I'm using a different streaming software, it's not going to be anything like, I'm not going to do Action PC or Out of the Park or anything like that tonight. So it's going to have to be more of a, or else I let Ernie do a game and I just shut the hell up. So I let the chat pick. I don't care. Or if you guys just want me to leave, I can leave. I've been here for 38 minutes preaching about baseball books, Saber, and everything else. And I'm running out of air to fill. Check Facebook one more time, and then we will, in fact, I'll message him and say, hey, Paul, are you here? Are you going to be here? Because folks are waiting. Ooh. Okay, he says, cool. I'm just going to say, we're waiting. All right. So he finally saw it. So that's something. And he's not in the green room. So we'll wait for a few more minutes here. So I've been showing you guys how to do some stuff in Diamond Mine Baseball. We've set up the Chinwag League is what I've done there, because I wasn't going to spend money just yet. It would have cost me like $50 just to get the 2 seasons I needed for the 2 teams that I wanted to do, that I'm doing in the tournament and a bunch of these other games. So instead, I made a judgment call, substituted in a couple other teams, And that'll be the thing that we'll have playing while we're doing our sort of Saturday night chinwags. Probably got caught in internet traffic, no kidding, right? So it's waiting for him to click on that and looking at the green room and don't see him anywhere. So, because I want to ask him, how does a Scouser become a baseball fan? Got to find out, because the only one I know that is, well, I don't know him, is Paul McCartney. So he loves to attend baseball games. But there we go. All right, nobody cares. So I'm gonna we'll play a quick game here between any two teams in baseball history, I guess. And then if Paul comes in, that would be a great segue into talking about Pocket Pennant Run or whatever the hell he wants to talk about. By the way, one of my pet peeves is when people spell Segway Segway. Cousin Ken, you're a journalist. You know what that's like when people spell Segway like that. It's not how you spell Segway. Stop it. And I'm not talking about the little motor thingy. I mean, a segue from one thing to another. Drives me nuts. Just thought I would say that. All right. Bring on the opening act. Bring on the dancing horses, right? What was it that, I can't say it on YouTube, though, and it's too bad because it's actually a funny line from Mel Brooks' Broadway show, The Producers. Mel Brooks was Jewish, had a sharp sense of humor, but if I say one of the funny lines on there, I can't because YouTube will have a cow. Damn it. And I'm a good liberal, too, by the way, so. All right. You know what? Just for giggles, Cousin Ken, let's do some old-timey baseball on here, even though the parks and everything aren't rated yet. Let's have fun. Let's have some fun. And Cousin Ken, you pick a 19th century team, and I'll pick a dead ball team. So need a year. He says, boy, do I was an editor for a minor league hockey magazine, and the cheap bastard worked for used fan content. Oh, that's like 4 months. I could not read that. Oh, God. Used fan content. Oh, I know. That's the worst, man. I hate to say it, but whew. So I'm big into sci-fi, Star Trek, Babylon 5 and all that. And I remember trying to read some of that stuff. And I'm sure there's some of it's good, but it's kind of like, separating the chaff from the wheat, whatever. And there's just some really weird stuff, man. And anyhow, probably Segway spelled incorrectly a lot too. I don't know. Yeah, no, I feel you. Oh, wait, no, I said name a 19th century team, and instead you're saying 1964. All right, so 1964 it is. We'll go back to the so-called modern database. 1964. Is this going to be the Phillies, cousin? Is that what's going to happen here? Are we picking the 19? No, we can do 64. That's fine. It'll be fun. Is it going to be the 64 Phillies? Is that what we're going to have here? Because I'm fine. I'm down for it. So, yep, 64 Phillies. All right, you got it. All right. So I should get we need a team that would be similar to them just to make it fun. God. Because, it'd be fun to have to do a Pirates team, but I'm trying to think when the Pirates had really good offense and not so good pitching. Just to get these teams kind of evened up a little bit, but I'm just going to pick a team. Somebody throw a team at me, and no super team here. Let's just team from 1920 to now. We won't go back to dead ball 19th century tonight. Ken chooses the 2024 White Sox. Actually, that would be kind of fun. we could do the 1964 Phillies against the 2024 White Sox. What do you think? Would that be fun? Anybody object? We will wait. We will wait. Oh, there. Now, Paul just messaged me. Hang on here, gents. Hang on. All right. Okay, so Paul's going to be here in 5 minutes. So let's do that. Must be someone out there who's replaying the 24 White Sox. Ken says, I know there is. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is going to be an exercise in house rules and all kinds of stuff here. Should be fun. If there's any White Sox fans out there, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yes, we want pitchers to hit. Okay. So who's starting for the Philadelphia Phillies? I think it's got to be Jim Bunning. I mean, that's really kind of the only choice here, I guess. No knock on Chris Short. Now, these White Sox, I have no idea. I'm just going here by I'm just going to go by the highest fatigue rating. So it's going to be how do I say his name? Is it Eric Fed or Eric Fetty? How do I say his name? I have no idea. So Todd B says he put together a league of the worst teams once who didn't go through with it. So Corey says he's not a White Sox fan, but I was talking to someone today that is a fan. Well, they can go nowhere but up. I'm going to give this guy a 7 fatigue just for shits and giggles. All right. So I know, like most of these Phillies players, I don't know any. And I mean, I really don't. I don't know any of these. That's not true. I've heard of Corey Lee and Nicky Lopez. That's pretty much it. So, Fetty. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, man. What would I do without you? God, this is like strange territory for me. So, let's tell you what. While we're talking about worst teams, before Paul gets on here, let me show you. And I have it, and maybe we'll do some things with it some night. But see if you guys agree with it. So this is something on Diamond Mine Baseball. It's called The Worst of the Worst. And, I mean, it is. It's pretty bad stuff here. And I'm pretty sure they give you the list of the teams. And I have it, but I think I want to put it I don't know if we're going to use it or not. All right, so it's 1899 Spiders, and I'm tired of them getting picked on. So, but the 1904 Washington Senators or Nationals, whatever. The 1916 Philadelphia A's, 1925 Boston Red Sox, 1939 St. Louis Browns, 1948 Chicago White Sox, 1952 Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, they sucked, man. Oof. 1962 New York Mets, 1979 Oakland A's, 1988 Baltimore Orioles, the 1998 Florida Marlins, and the 2003 Detroit Tigers. So, you know what? I'm going to change this White Sox thing up too, because I don't know these guys. I don't know any of these guys. Let's do the 52 Pittsburgh Pirates. Forget it. We're going to do the 52 Pittsburgh Pirates. That's what we're going to do. All right. Because they were stinky, man. They were pretty stinky. And we're going to let the Phillies be the home team. All right. There we go. Now we got it settled out. Because those White Sox guys, I have no idea who they are. I have no idea. Isn't that terrible? I know more players from the dead ball era than I know from the 2020s. Hey, Paul. Oh, Paul is here.
Sorry about that.
Hey, buddy. No, I thought we said 10 p.m. and then I forgot 7 hours.
I went back and you said 11.
Did I say 11?
Well, yeah.
What? I'm an agent. I'm an agent.
Well, what can I say?
About to quick play a game. If you want to keep your webcam on, you can. If you want to turn off the video, you can. It's up to you. I don't use it usually People can see what I look like. I'm a long-haired hippie there and rocker.
Well, I'm an old boring fart. So where do I turn? Hold on. Sorry, I've not been awake. I've not been
Well,
awake.
I'm going to go ahead and expand the screen anyhow, so no one's going to be able to see you. Boom. There you go. So you can leave it on. All right. So, Paul. So, along with me, I always say, you fancy a bacon butty? I've got to ask you, how does a Scouser become a baseball fan? How does that even work? And are you Everton or Liverpool for your football club before we even go on? Back in the day, was it Everton or Liverpool?
Oh, so it's a history lesson. Okay, I grew up in inner city Liverpool, Liverpool 6. I grew up 1 mile away from both Goodison and Anfield.
Okay.
90% of my family were Reds, but there was one uncle who was a Blue, so I became an Everton fan.
Everton. So you and Paul McCartney have that in common.
Yeah, I watched Everton for about 40 years. I went through all the good times and mostly bad times.
Mostly bad times.
But we sold up from. We had a shop in Liverpool, so we got compulsory purchased. You know, it was knocked down, and we moved into a farmhouse out in a place called St Helens.
Mm-hmm.
And my granddad worked for Pilkingtons. I don't know if you've heard of them. They were big glass manufacturers, and actually, it's interesting about my granddad because he was the most important person in my life. In St Helens, you could either work for Beecham's, who make medicines, or you could work for Pilkingtons, who made glass. He chose Pilkingtons because he could wear his clogs. If you went to Beecham's, you had to wear proper shoes, and you'd get laughed at. So,
oh, you know what? Yeah, no self-respected Scouser wears proper shoes, right?
No, so he got me into rugby league. I know most people watching this have not heard of rugby league. It's the rugby that's played in the north of England.
Right. Well, I know it because of Ireland, and rugby's used in Ireland. So,
yeah. But anyway, baseball. Fast forward to 1985. I was really disenchanted with football. A lot of nil-nil draws. I liked cricket, but it didn't give me enough stats. And my mate, my mate Alan said he'd found in a second-hand shop this baseball laws or rules. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We read through it, laughing at all the terms, bunt, RBI, and we thought this might be interesting actually because we'd only heard of. I think we'd only heard of Babe Ruth and probably Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
And I was in a shop called Games Workshop.
Of course.
A couple of weeks later, what's on the shelf? Avalon Hill. I wasn't interested in all the war games, but what did I see? Status Pro Baseball.
Lovely.
Status Pro Baseball. And of course, and I know I'm the anomaly in this, and a lot of listeners and people in the gaming think I'm weird. I've never rolled a dice in my life unless I've been forced to. So because Status Pro came with fast action cards, to me this was fantastic. And I learned all the rules from Status Pro, and it was my first love. Played it for 20 years, and then me and my mate got moved away. Well, actually, he married my wife's sister. Never forgave me for it, and we fell out. And bizarrely, he now lives about 5 miles away from me here in Cyprus. So we're friends again.
Small world, isn't it?
So that's baseball, and baseball is for many years my first love and Status Pro, and I moved on to a computer guy. So I loved playing. The ultimate for me was when I discovered the Action PC, and I've got about 45 mini series that I did with my mate of Action PC.
That's a superb game.
When I look at it on your screen now, fantastic channel, by the way. I know I keep saying that, but
thank you, Paul.
It's the only channel. My wife says, "Why are you listening to Beatles music early in the morning?"
So when I started the channel, so the Beatles are the reason I'm a musician. I'm not old enough to have grown up with them, but they are the reason I'm a musician. And so somebody was like, "Oh, you should start a YouTube channel," and da da da. And I'm like, "Oh, I need a name," and I didn't want to put my real name. And I thought, well, I love the Beatles, so I tried Beatles Forever, and somebody else took it, wankers. So it's like, okay, I'll be Beatles eternally. And I think I've hunked off hundreds of millions of Beatles fans out there because my channel has nothing to do with the Beatles at all. So
yeah. Well, I don't care about that. It doesn't offend me. I think it's the only channel I wake up early to listen to.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Because it's not about you; it's about the games and a lot of chat. I mean, I'm including my own here. I mean, at the end of the day, my voice is pretty boring, but I'm not going to try and bull you up here. But you're pretty interesting to listen to, and you have great conversations as well.
Oh, thank you.
But it's interesting what you say. Action PC. It looks fantastic on your screen. I've got a big monitor and 2 monitors, and it looks fantastic. But I was sat there one day, and I thought, wow, this is leaving me cold. I could knock a game off in about 15 minutes. And I thought, all I'm doing is clicking. I found myself not making I wasn't getting that feel. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then I saw an advert, as I was always rooting through. I haven't played Status Pro for about 20 years. Even though I got in touch with Derek and had all the Status Pro Advanced, I still had not played it. And then I saw one day an advert for History Maker Baseball, and it had fast action cards.
I love fast action cards. You know, you mentioned Status Pro Baseball, and I mean, literally, it was when I was an undergraduate. It was basically go to classes, get back to the union building, student union building, and just play Status Pro. And that's why I'm so excited for next week's release of Digital Diamond, because Status Pro is now its own discrete engine in that game. So many fun memories. And the nice thing about fast action cards too, when you have cats, is they don't chase the cards like they chase dice. I love the game. I love it. Just love it.
I think I told you last time I spoke. I was lying there one day. I think it was last year, and I thought, Mark's a great guy. Derek's a great guy. I've been trying to get computer baseball, a proper one, for ages. Why don't I see if Mark is amenable to Derek going on and integrating it together? So I introduced them, and wow, I'm not taking all the credit for that, but I did introduce them, and I'm so happy with the results because I was playing Status Pro Advanced yesterday on DDB. Fantastic.
Oh, it is. It's. I mean, Mark's fantastic, and to be able, and of course, what Derek, I know him too, and just bringing these two together, take credit. Believe me, there are so many people that are just absolutely chuffed about this coming. This now, right? Because I mean, the integration was there in a sense in version 12, but now to be able to play Status Pro as its own, right? When you're doing a season replay and you're doing it in Status Pro, now all the other teams are going to be playing Status Pro too, that you're not playing. And I love that.
Before it was just creating the cards on the hoof.
Right. Yeah.
And the one thing I am disappointed though, and it's probably through me misunderstanding, in the original release, sorry, voice is a bit rough, just woken up.
No worries.
One thing I am a little disappointed in is in the original release, they said that Status Pro Advanced was going to be integrated. But I've clarified that with Derek and Mark, and that's not going to be in this release because it takes too much.
Right.
Too much. It's a too in-depth engine, basically. But it is going to be version 4 that Derek designed of Status. So it's still going to be pretty great. You can use a lot of projects on that. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dwayne's video on that next week.
So am I. He's kind of the guru of that game. The thing that surprises me that Mark kind of underplays this part of it, because people are mistaken in thinking with Digital Diamond Baseball that you can only go back to 1924. That's not true. I mean, because he does say later on in the Steam description, or create any team you want. So you literally can create any team you want, not only from baseball, but you want to do your Sunday softball league in there, you can do it. And it's going to create cards. It's going to do whatever. And I also like Mark's. Maybe I'm a bit of a cheap bastard. I don't know, but Mark had mentioned. He said, "Why charge for season?" He said, "The data are out there," and that's why. And now here comes my segue into Pocket Pennant Run baseball. And what Craig and Matt are doing, and you now, because you're part of this, a big part of this game now. Pocket Pennant Run, and I just want to say on behalf of the community, Paul, now that I've got you voice to voice, you've heard me say it, but what you've done, your hard work has made this game. This game is incredible already. I know that there's, I can only imagine what's coming down, the pipe for this game later on, but it's incredible. And thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, well, I'm interested that you, and I really appreciate you saying that. I'll just cover 1 minute if I can, and just tell you how I got into Pocket Pennant.
I was just going to ask you. Please do. See, never anybody out there. If you think a Liverpudlian can't read your mind, you just heard it right there. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I mentioned History Maker Baseball, and I have to give the play community a big shout out because Keith, I go to PlayCon, and in fact, I'm going in about 8 weeks again to Denver for PlayCon. They are the most welcoming people I've ever known. It's just fantastic. And they have 3 days, 4 days. I'm there. I'll catch a Rockies game, and you have a fantastic time. And History Maker Baseball, I laughed at it when I first saw it, and I know you're wondering what this has got to do with Pocket Pennant Run, but just bear with me 1 sec.
Absolutely.
And History Maker Baseball, I've played many projects with it. And the thing is, it's the complete opposite of Action PC. So it gave me what I needed at the time. You have pre-game day, you have fun. And I look back on all my results because I don't know if other people do it, but I play multi-game engine. So game 1 of a series, I'll play Pocket Pennant Run. Game 2, I'll play History Maker Baseball. And if you look at all the results, and I showed them to people last year, you can't pick out the particular games from any of these multi-game engines.
Right.
And to me, so they stand up, they stand up. If I look at and I keep intensive, detailed stats of all of these games. And the reason I got into Pocket Pennant Run, I thought, this is a simple game. And my mate, this Alan who I mentioned before, he's not too well, so I thought this will be an easy game for him to play. And then a few weeks later, or a few months, I can't remember what drops through your inbox, but the original game day from Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you're just having a cup of tea.
Right. Take your time.
And I fed the dogs. They're being quiet, so.
Always important. They start looking at you like your lunch, then you're in trouble, yeah?
And then there's unfortunately just a very small percentage of knobheads in this community. And I saw the abuse that Craig started getting and Matt. Wow. It was unbelievable. I thought they've released this game free. They're a small company. We should be supporting people in our community, not vilifying them, because otherwise there's going to be none of these companies left. Look at the fun we have. Look what we're doing. Look at what we can do. We can play games from any era. And I thought for someone to produce a game like this and then get this abuse, I found myself defending them online. 2 people told me they wish I was dead, and I thought I'm not going to be scared off by you, because 99% of people in this community, as we all know, are amazing.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be scared off by you. So I wrote to Craig offering my help, and I said, I don't think you realise what you've got here. This could be a board game, a companion, as I called it then, but I said, you can't call it that. So board game assistant, I said. It's a BA, it's like a batting average, board game assistant, easy to remember. Mm-hmm. And he was very resistant at first because he thought I was another person criticising what he'd released. And I said, you've got all these databases. We could produce anything from this, anything. I said, it could be fantastic. So I sent him all my initial ideas, and being, you know what coders are like, he was resistant, and then he suddenly.
Oh, we got a little bit of a drop out there. I don't know if that's your side or mine. I got a bit of a freeze up there, Paul. Don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now. Yeah, you kind of froze for a minute.
Yeah, I've got good reception, but obviously sometimes it just, yeah, I'm back. Sorry, so Craig thought I was a bit of a, he didn't trust me at first. He didn't trust me. And
I can understand that. I mean, again, I had seen, and in fact, there was an issue I dealt with. I don't know if you saw that broadcast, but I'd seen it in the Facebook group, and I was absolutely horrified. I'm like, these guys are putting out a game, and you guys are, you know, like you're acting as if they just ripped your mom's heart out or something. I mean, come on. It was, and again, that's such a small, you know, negligible part of the community. But yeah, I can see that.
To this day, this is why Matt does not come on. He basically put his head above the parapet, was frightened to death, and has gone back inside his shell.
Well, you know, Matt has come on here a couple times, which I was very, very chuffed about that.
But in the main, that's why he keeps his distance, really.
I understand.
He's a good, but they're both good guys, you know. And
oh yeah,
like Craig was getting so much abuse, he never had time to fix any of the problems. Sorry. And like, I mean, last night I was working till 11:30 with a few people who got bugs and stuff. So it seems to be working well, the system now. People send me the bugs, I try and recreate them, and then I pass them on, and Craig's free to fix them, because I think a lot of people don't realise the whole company is basically Matt, who does the physical side, and Craig on his own, who does the all of the software. There's nobody else to help. That's it. And I think that's where we're up to at the moment. I mean, I just want to thank everybody for sending me a lot, and Craig particularly, a lot of love for these latest releases, for him to see, oh, it's great that we're actually getting people saying we love the game, and he's getting a lot. Now most of his messages are telling him how great he is, so he's loving it. You know, coders like a good bit of applause, and don't we all at some stages, you know?
You know what? In any sort of community, you're going to have a few tossers. You know that. I know that. So Ken here says, unfortunately, there are people that rip on games and that people enjoy them. It's a hobby, for God's sake. Exactly. It's a hobby.
Spot on that, Ken. I can see that. Yeah, it's true. We're just here. You know, we don't know how long we've got on the earth. Let's just enjoy it. And there's enough shit going on in the world. Let's, you know, right. I'm sat in my little corner of Cyprus here. I can talk to people across the world. I talked to one guy who produces some soccer cards and some baseball cards. He lives in Venezuela. He'd never been to the US or the UK in his life. I speak to another couple in France. One guy sent me a horse racing game from France, wants me to review that. It's just amazing the people you get to speak to, you know.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to know about Pocket Pennant Run, I'm here to tell you where we're at.
All right, guys, that's the invitation.
If I keep coughing, sorry. Usually, I've had a good warm up by now, but
well, I'm usually doing games with a fag in my hand, so people hear me. So you know, don't worry, no apologies. Almost everything goes here. So okay. No worries, man.
That's okay.
No worries. So while they're dreaming up questions, what's of all the modes and the things, because this Pocket Pennant Run software, I try to, and I mean, people are getting the sense of how immense this is. And of course, people are thinking that this is the Pocket Pennant Run game. And it's like, nuts. It is, but it's more, and it's huge, and it's so many ways, so many things. Do you have a favorite mode, one that you go to more than any others that you personally like to play with? When you're not play testing, you want to play Pocket Pennant Run. What do you usually gravitate to, Paul?
Okay, so game. I play a lot of Japanese baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And game one of those two game series is always game day advanced
Okay.
with full picture warm up. By the way, the picture warm up system is the most sophisticated system.
So yes, you know what? Of all the digital games I play, and I play a lot of them, Paul, this is the only one that I use picture warm up. I love the way that the Craig implemented it. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm talking. I don't do it in out of the park baseball, action PC, any of the others. This game I will not play unless I'm doing pitcher warm up and advanced, fielding, everything like that. Love it. It's fantastic how it's implemented.
So that's what I use.
Okay.
Game two of the series then is often History Maker Baseball.
Okay.
I will use I might use the dice version on game day, or I might use the no dice and use a die roller from Andy Lewis, who I use for most games.
Right.
I'm going to do a couple of streams of those because I need to get my bigger screen set up so I can show people the dice roller at the time, because he deserves a lot of love because he spends a lot of time creating dice rollers.
So guys, while I have a moment here, please subscribe to Paul's channel. There's a lot of Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. Does a lot of other videos too. Excellent channel, and teaches you a lot about Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. I learned a lot about Pocket Pennant Run Baseball by watching Paul's videos. Check them out, and he's part of our community. And again, it's that idea of just that collaboration, learning from one another. Nobody knows everything. And just he's a good guy, or I wouldn't have him on here. I mean, he's a Brit after all. I don't know, Paul. But Paul, you don't strike me that you would have been a black and tan, so you're okay. You're all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's. I'm going to put it in chat for you right now. Parallel League. All right. FAC Sports. What is it? FAC Sports Desk? Paul, give me the exact title of your channel. It's FAC Sports Desk with Paul, right?
Yeah. Just let me check. The reason is I was going to change it last week, but you keep mentioning it. I've got a lot of subscribers since you kept mentioning.
Are you telling me to shut me gob then?
No. Fast Action Cards Sports Desk.
Okay.
With Paul. Yeah.
Okay. So please do subscribe, guys.
FAC Sports Desk with Paul. Just looking.
There we go.
It's a bit long-winded, but I won't change it now because, as I say, you've got my subscriber numbers up quite a lot. So.
I'm nefarious in my ways, so.
But if anybody needs to send me a message or email me anyway, I'm happy to answer anytime. But just allow for the sound difference. I'm not ignoring you if I don't come back straight away. I'm asleep. I'll tell if anybody's. There's a couple of bugs outstanding in Pocket Pennant Run. I don't know if you want me to address those at the moment.
Paul, the platform is yours. Sure.
Okay, the major one in this last because the way it works is I have an idea. Craig is resistant to it, and then Craig goes away and implements it. But because the game has evolved from something it wasn't, every time he makes a change, that can involve a change to hundreds, and in one case, 3,000 lines of code. So,
right.
Someone said, what to me once a few months ago now, why doesn't he just go in and change it? Well, yeah, that's if you've got a team of people and you've got people analysing the code, but he's on his own. So to rewrite 3,000 lines of code, that's Craig. So I'll leave him alone for a few days, and then he comes back with the fix.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing, there's the big one in this one that's come out is line out double plays, and that was crashing. So we don't know why, because it didn't test. It didn't crash the week before, but something that changed So that is now fixed, and there will be a patch coming out within the next few days. We're just ironing out a few others on custom teams. The custom team bug, it was crashing late on. I tested 11 games yesterday, and they didn't crash at all. So my eyes are like piss holes in the snow at the moment.
I know, but Paul, thy name is perseverance. I mean, you and I have, just kind of like traded back and forth a bit on Facebook, and how many hundreds of games. So guys, I mean, with any software, I mean, little bugs are going to creep through, or the guys I hang out with, we call them features. But rest assured that, I mean, that when Paul's talking about doing 11 games, that's probably a light day for him. So please continue, Paul.
No, well, you're right. And then I was about to go to bed last night because I knew I had an early morning with you. And then Todd and another guy I can't remember, I'd not heard before, suddenly sent me through some screen shots. And I was just checking that there were bugs I already knew about. So then I passed them on to Craig. In fact, Craig's just messaged me. I've just seen he sent me, in fact, this might be a message for everybody. Just bear with me a second, because it mentions something about version 3.
So while Paul's reading that, there were a couple people that were confused in the Facebook group. And so maybe I can help clear this up. So a lot of people were mistaking and thinking that these updates that Paul and Craig are talking and Matt are talking about have to do with the physical game. They don't. The physical game is version 3, and it's beautiful. You guys already, I've told you a billion times, as a sleight of hand artist, I would use those cards in a professional Magic performance. But it's what we're talking about is the Pocket Pennant Run Manager. So when they're talking about updates, so if you have the version 3 card game, you're fine. There's nothing changing in that game. So I just wanted to,
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. If we call it game day, then we know we're talking about the computer game,
right?
The computer version, the digital version. Craig's just saying, this is to do with the next update. Actually, he's telling me version 3 sent. Hope you have good luck with it. And so he sent me what will be. It's supposed to be the next update. It's not just going to be the simple file. He's done a major update on it. To fix all these bugs and stuff. So I'm going to test that today. And then I won't read the next bit because he gives me a load of abuse. Because his wife thinks we're having an affair.
Brilliant.
She keeps saying, "Who are you talking to at this time at night?" Because obviously it's like midnight for him. So I'm going to be testing that today, and then he's moving. They have some summer home or something, so they're going there. He's going to be off for 2 days, so I don't know whether he's going to release it later tonight or whether in 2 days' time. So I'm just reading through. Okay, so he says to me, "That's the most helpful stuff you've sent me in days." So it's a little bit of abuse, but I forgot what we were talking about now. Yeah, so I never use Game Day Basic, unless people want me to test something or they've had issues. So I played a few games this week, and I'm interested in your. I've had to go back and play some Dead Ball games because I'm finished with Dead Ball because I played it for like 15 years, just all Dead Ball.
See, that's my wheelhouse. That in 19th century baseball, and that's why I've mentioned to Craig that I want to I want to start doing the ratings for the Dead Ball managers and parks and things like that.
He told me that you're going to do that, and I'm glad about that because the more people we can get involved, it's like I've got a few other testers now, and so they all come via me, but I send them off to test various aspects of it. So. But the Dead Ball, I love watching you play the Dead Ball. It's quite interesting. I was interested in Out of the Park baseball you were playing the other day. But, it's only me personally, because I've done it to death. Then I realised when I went to a game, I didn't know any modern players. I'd lost touch. You know what I mean?
That's what I am. Yeah.
But now, so I now play always the most recent season as well in all projects. So
Okay.
I can compare game engines, and I've been to quite a few games the last couple of years, and I actually love the pitching clock and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too keen. I'm a National League guy, Cubby, so I still don't love the DH, and I don't like the Ghost Runner. Although I do use the Ghost Runner now in some of my DDB replays, because obviously with so many projects on the go, I don't want to be having a 20 inning game.
I understand that. So that blasphemy for prosaic reasons can be forgiven, but I'm glad that you are anti Ghost Runner and all of that. So that's and the limited throws over to first and getting rid of the shift. No,
what about calling started pitchers? Some teams call them their openers, and they come in for one inning. I mean, what the hell?
I know.
That relates back to pocket Pennant run, because Craig didn't know much about modern baseball. So I was trying to make it realistic when I was testing. So
Right.
I was taking them out thinking like a 2023 or 24 manager. You know, panic sets in. We've given up a walk. I mean, I was at the London series last year, the Mets and the Phillies, and I could see directly from one game. I could see directly into the Mets bullpen. They gave up a walk, and they started warming up in the bullpen. Panic set in. We were in the first inning. What? The pitchers don't know how to pitch out of trouble. So I was trying to replicate that in pocket Pennant run, and then we ran into an overload because Craig said to me, "Who uses like 5 and 6 pitches?" I said, "Have you seen?" And I showed him. I sent him quite a few box scores from modern games. He was stunned. Stunned.
But now from the dead ball side of things, I really, really want to thank you guys for, because this is huge, allowing us to change the fatigue of pitchers, because, guys like Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, Joe McGinnity, all the rest, they weren't tired after 7. They weren't, John McGraw didn't hook anybody after, at 7 innings or whatever. So the ability for 19th century and dead ball baseball to be able to have, to realistically have, to give Christy Mathewson that 9 inning fatigue mark makes a big difference, because to be honest, and I've always loved pocket Pennant run, but when we first tried a few games and, it was just unrealistic that, somebody like, I'll just use Joe McGinnity as an example, he's going to be tired after 7 innings, even though he was pitching a shutout. Right, because of innings. It's like, this isn't dead ball. And so I didn't play dead ball baseball with pocket Pennant run, and I still don't a lot, because I do want to get these manager ratings done. But that addition to be able to change fatigue is I thank you a billion times, you and Craig. And
there's anything I can take credit for, 90% of this is Craig. I just have the ideas. Some of them are crazy. I was writing down for the next release. I've got the launch screen in my mind. But the thing I can take credit for, I know Craig won't mind this. I played it and I said, this fatigue system's nonsense. I said, this has got to be flexible. You've got to be able to put in your own fatigue, because everyone has their own rules. I mean, whatever system I play, I still, even if I'm playing History Maker Baseball, I still use Status Pro back from the day, the advanced version of fatigue. I use it for every game because it works for me. So I wanted flexibility in it. You know what I mean? I didn't want the game to suddenly. And it's like Japanese as well, because some of those players, in certain seasons, they were all going complete games, but suddenly they were fatigued after 7, but they were, they weren't. And relievers, all relievers coming in with 1, that doesn't work either.
Well, the thing, you talk about fatigue systems, and I don't know that this could be implemented. I don't know that it could be in pocket Pennant run. There's one, and I'm just speaking digital games now. There's one digital game that does fatigue the best, and it's Baseball for Windows. And here's why. because not only does it take into account, and not just pitchers, but also players, not only how fatigued they might be, but it also has how, if you haven't played them, they'll get itchy. And so you have to make that decision. And if you hear scratching in the background, it's one of my cats. So that's a really, really neat system. And I've never seen another baseball game use that. So
this is
APA, yeah. So the game that you'll see in my channel that Ernie Harwell's doing the call, that's APA baseball.
Best commentary. First.
Oh yeah, it is.
First
it is.
Ball I played. First ball.
Yeah. I don't know why people would. I'd rather just play that than have people listen to my voice, because like that's a real broadcaster there. But I love the itchy thing, because sometimes that player, if he gets in, he might just put in a stellar performance for you. And it always puzzled me in digital games, and remembering the Pocket Pennant run started life as a cards and dice game. So, but so did APA. But for them to put that in, I often wondered why other digital baseball games didn't sort of incorporate that idea of, okay, this guy's really anxious to play, put him in.
I've still got that. I'm going to go back. Do you know what? And that's interesting, because I'd forgotten about that. Itchy. I've forgotten that. I'll go back and look at that, and that's possibly something that could be done. Because
the thing that you guys are doing now with the you can slump a player and boost a player, that opens up amazing vistas, Paul, because let's say you're playing 1941, for instance, right? So what one of the things that plagues, whether it's cards and dice baseball or digital baseball, is, let's say you're playing, right, and understanding that as soon as you roll the dice or you click the mouse button, you're in fantasy land anyhow. But it would be so cool. You're playing the 1941 season, and if Joe DiMaggio's hitting, next game you can boost him. And as long as that goes, there's a mechanism now in a baseball game to sort of deal with that kind of bugaboo. It's okay, how do we deal with hitting streaks? Right? Because they're largely not that you, I mean, certainly yes, in Pocket Pennant run, you could cheat it all the way through and whatever. But the idea is a boosting and slumping a player. I think for seasoned replayers, I think that's a welcome addition right there.
To see that, because I don't get many questions about boost and slump.
And I don't know why. I thought people would have embraced that like crazy.
Shall I tell you some of my ideas for going forward?
Please do.
Well, Craig, one of the number one criticism that Pocket Pennant run ever got, because they invented it during COVID, and they wanted a simple game that him and Matt could play, is the 4 ratings. So A, B, C, D. I've had people in, and people that play games who I respect, who said to me, I can't play this game. I love it, but it's just 4 categories, and not every player. And I show them the results, and they stand up, even Pocket Pennant run against others. But they say, I can't play it because I can't invest in it because there's only 4 categories.
Mm-hmm.
What, Craig, I don't know if you've played History Maker Baseball, but they have a system of semi-qualities. And so you roll a decider die, and let's say you're a semi-home run king. You roll a decider die, the result will say home run king, it's home run. He's a semi home run king, because you know a player doesn't hit a homer every time, or he's not hot every time. You roll the decider die, and if it doesn't come up with the dot, he doesn't hit a home run. It's as simple as that. So there's excitement on every roll. Do you see what I mean? Or you could be a semi-ace, or you can give players. So I said to Craig, it's not good at this 4. It's getting a lot of criticisms, possibly unjustified, but I can see where people are coming from. He said, I've already had the idea to have half categories. So someone might be, we don't want to call it semi, because we don't want to steal off other games. It's good to have different, I don't know, but let's say he's half A. So if he gets some sort of decider, we don't know what yet, or he's hit, let's say he's had 2 hits in the game, he's suddenly become an A. So he'll get a boost for 1 at bat, you see. So it'll be a flexible up and down sort of. A lot of this is only in my head. It's not worked out properly yet. Mm-hmm. players will receive boosts as the game goes. So this player's hot in the game. He's already had 3 hits at it. You know, he's on fire. He's seeing the ball well. And similarly, if a pitcher, he's not got control, he's given up several walks, he should lose something on his control rating because it's clear he's not brought his stuff with him. And these are all the type of things that we want to include in the game.
Wow.
You can't hold me to any of exactly what I've said because
no, of course not.
One of the reasons is Craig hasn't heard some of it yet, but
he tunes in here every once in a while, so yeah, he might.
He's not coming on in case I mention him, but he's frightened that every time I have an idea, it means about another 3,000 lines of code. So, but you see what I mean? You've got the facility there, and really, we should be playing a live game. So you know when a player comes to bat when you're at the game, you don't know what he's going to do when he's first up, but you know if a player gets a couple of hits, he's well in, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Or it may be that he loses that boost if the other team brings in a new pitcher. You know, there's a lot of things to be done with the game, but the first thing we have to nail down, and that's why we've not concentrated on, you know, some of the modules are not fit for purpose at the moment, as I would say. Like, I know you keep showing the team management, and I hide my eyes when you do it because.
Oh, come on! It's pretty good. Come on, what are you talking about?
It is. The databases are amazing.
Yes,
I know that. Really, it's an extra really, and it's going to be completely redesigned because the launch screen will, and again, this is only our ideas at the moment. The launch screen will be a base like home plate or first base or whatever, and on it the center will be play ball, and you'll play ball there, and that will take you off to where you want to play, and it'll give you the choice of where you want to play. See, then you'll have at the top of the will be another section, and you'll go to team manager, and you'll create all your teams in there, and you'll save your lineups. So each module will be a distinct. You'll know where you want to go. So you don't have to go through various things, but the team manager module should be, you can create all your teams there. You can create your all-time great teams, and everything will be. Just want it looking spectacular.
Just as long as it's not going to go away, because that's my favorite module. Well, that one, and I love in the box score replay where you can just pick a random date in baseball and play a game. I love that, or put in a specific date. But what I'm waiting for, and you've heard me say this before, is a schedule editor so that I can create a season or whatever with these teams that I create. I don't want to use external software to do that.
So number 3 on if you can see it on your, I'm not sure if I've got it on here.
Yep.
Let me just. I don't know whether I can't show you on here, but anyway, if you picture in your mind a baseball, a base,
okay.
And the shape of a base, the center will be a circle, a diamond in the middle, right in the middle.
Right.
To play ball, which most people want to do, if you want to get straight to a game, let's play ball there. Do you want to play from custom games? Do you want to play from history? It'll take you. You can choose straight from there. But at number 3, at 3 o'clock on that, and you'll be happy, will be project and schedule creator.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So the thing is, it depends how detailed you want to get with schedules, because I did try using an AI, and I've blown AI's mind because they're not very good at schedule creation.
Right.
So it depends, but it's going to be there. It's going to be there in some form, and obviously we'll work with the community to see how many teams or what type. Because I'll be honest with you, in digital diamond baseball, I hate their schedule creator.
So do I. It's yeah.
Do you know how I use it? I create my own schedules manually, and then I just add them one at a time. That's the easiest way in DDB.
Right.
Go to schedule creator, add. So I add the next series I'm playing. I just add that, and even that takes me a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But I do that, and then So I think that needs to be an option as well, because some people make their schedules up as they go along, and also as well. A lot of people play just tournaments, so there needs to be some sort of tournament created as well.
I was going to ask you about that because I'm doing a tournament right now, and Pocket Pennant Run is part of that. So it's mainly out of the park baseball is the one that's kind of guiding everything.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday, the other day. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we had that. In fact, that the Brewers Twins game on here ended. What a spectacular! It ended with an outfield assist. It was brilliant. Great game. And so I'm like, I know that the tournament thing's not going to be in here for a while. So for this game, because I love it so much, I'm using some software offline to recreate the tournament seedings and stuff that Out of the Park is determined to use. But that's something that that one I'm waiting for. I guess with a schedule generator, I would even be chuffed at this point if you could just, like have it generate 162 or 154 games even. If even something that rudimentary, I think would be I would be off to the races with that one. I'm really waiting for that.
Before we get to that stage, I'll put out what people feelers to see what people want, like yourself, and
sure,
you can ask people, because we're going to work through each of these modules. The first one that needs fixing, as far as I'm concerned, is, when I say fixing, I don't mean eliminating or changing, but improving, is the team management. This needs a box score. These both need, because there's so many bugs in gameplay, we've actually, most of the time, has been concentrated on getting that to where it is.
Sure.
So I think some time now has to be spent, like throughout the next several months, in concentrated on these other modules,
Oh, I completely understand that. You need that foundation. It's got to be solid. I get that. And please, my suggestions. So because I'm largely not a seasoned replayer, I'm a what if guy. I'm in a minority. Not a lot of people do what I do. There's nothing wrong with season replays, but I want to create a narrative that never existed before. So that's why I'll wait. I'm going to wait patiently. I'll be playing this game forever. I love it, but it's just nice to know that that's something that's going to come down the line, and that's great.
It's next. It's on the. I'll just get my. I've got my planner here on my e-ink reader. Just a sec, and I'll just have a look at it. I need my glasses.
Guys, while Paul's looking there, I know that I do this a lot. There's Dwayne Martz. So Dwayne, Paul saying he's looking forward to your broadcast next week for Digital Diamond Baseball version 13, baby. We're all going to be tuning in. Hopefully you do it when I'm not at work or something. I don't know. That's coming out. That's coming out on a Monday. So yeah, I'll be able to catch it. Cool.
Thanks to Dwayne, by the way. Thank you, Dwayne, for getting me into red, white, and blue racing from Play. I hated NASCAR, but now I play it all the time. Anyway, that's it. Okay, so I've got it. The top will be team manager. 3 o'clock will be project and schedule coach, and then at 6 o'clock the statistics locker, the locker room. So we'll go in there to analyze all your statistics. And again, at that stage,
may I interrupt and ask a question?
Yeah.
And maybe this is something more that I should ask Craig if he ever comes on here again. So when you're searching stats, because I always tout this as kind of like a miniature sort of baseball reference.
Yeah.
Why aren't triples included in seasons? Like when I'm looking, so if I'm looking at Sam Crawford, who's the all-time triples leader in baseball, there's no triples. It goes hits, doubles, home runs, but triples aren't counted. Is because Craig didn't have room in the database, or they're conspicuous by their absence, and that's been since version 2. There's no triples.
He didn't have room in his head. No, the reason is Craig didn't. I know he doesn't mind me saying this. He didn't think anyone would actually use any of this. He just saw it as a free giveaway that people may use or may not use.
Well, surprise, Craig.
If you're getting questions about it. And I made a note of it the other day because you mentioned triples.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can't deal with it at the moment, but
Right.
rest assured, again, the same, because we want these as specific modules so that
Right.
people can launch to where they want. As we come to each one,
Okay.
we'll ask the community what they want. I'm
Right.
getting a lot of feedback from people from other communities now, which is mostly thanks to your videos, actually.
Oh.
People are writing to me, we thought Pocket Pennant Run was a simple little game, but now I find out I can. And because the other thing, I mentioned fatigue that I did take some credit for. The other thing that I take credit for is I wanted to be able to play this. I do, if I'm traveling or anything like that, I wanted it touch screen. So I'm responsible for the out screen, where you can
Nice.
just touch, because I don't want to be messing about looking. And again, I've just mentioned that I love DDB, but a lot of players who have come from just cards and dice, some people don't know anything about computers and they don't want to learn any syntax. You know what I mean?
I'm one of them. In fact, while you're talking, I'm just going to bring up just we can just have the game screen up here while you're talking. So we're going to bring up 1971.
I'll shut up if I've talked.
No. This way, if there was something you wanted to illustrate or talk about, but I just thought just bring something up here. No, talk all you want. I'm loving this.
Okay, there's a known bug in this at the moment, and I don't know if are these ones that you've clicked. Are these ones that you've completed?
No, these aren't. No, this isn't. So this one, I was just showing these guys like the importance of when you're doing this, and because guys here want to know how it tracks stats, and I said, well, when you're running a game sim, make sure that you're running the full game sim, so that way you do have stats that are being tracked. That if you run quick game sim, it's more like what is that thing that Robert uses? I think it's called Fast Score Baseball that uses kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it explains here, and so I always so these were all done using the full game sim, and I think we went through just to June or something. We didn't do the entire season, as you can see. We did up through I think June 30th, or no, we played this up to May 25th of 1971. And I was showing the guys, saying I could show stats and, of course, bringing up the great show stats screen, which I love. This is amazing.
Favor, can you just click on one of those completed games for me? Because this is
absolutely. Just any one? Yeah. Okay. Got one.
Just show box score for me.
All right. There it is.
Right. Okay. So that is showing the losing picture and the winning picture and the save. If you play a game in full at the moment on the version that everyone has got, in box score, so you don't use the AI, the sim, you play it. If you send that back to box score, it does not record the home team picture of note. So that's a fix. That's a fix coming in the next couple of days. So that has been particularly hard to identify, and I want to thank a lot of people have sent me game files to try and work that through. And Craig was working on it all day yesterday, and we think we've got it nailed. So I just wanted to say that. But you see, I hope you don't mind me saying this at this point, but I sound like but it's better to be honest about the good points of the game and the bad points. And again, the artificial manager for this, the game manager, the AI, it's not advanced enough. It's not sophisticated enough. It needs a lot of work doing on
yes.
And we've got notes for it, and that will be coming. Where you're saying that you hope it doesn't go away. That is that is probably the first area that will be worked on to make it more sophisticated. I'm not saying it's going to be to the level of OOTP or Action PC or anything like that. But
sure, but it is nice because I found myself sometimes so everybody will have house rules, and you'd mentioned that before. So I'll have a house rule that I will check, especially for steals of third. I kind of I'm not going to do. I don't do so much in with this game, even if I'm playing in the dead ball era, which there are lots of steals of third, and more run and hit play stuff like that. But if the manager using a rated manager, so 1920 and forward, if he's calling a steal, but I don't think a steal is going to work, I'm not going to take that recommendation, because sometimes it will call for a steal when clearly you wouldn't steal. You'd run yourself out of the inning, or you've got and I've got to use an older player here. You've got Jimmy Fox up at bat. You don't want to take the bat out of Jimmy Fox's hands, like, ever. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it will call for a steal, and it's not so. And I think everybody is kind of fine, with that sort of thing in their games. They'll make their house rules. And if it's suggesting something that would be detrimental to that team, I'm not going to do it. But I do like the fact that rudimentary AI is already built into it, and that you guys are going to build on that. I think it's great.
Interesting that you say about steals. I was just reading the stats the other day on MLB.
Hey, legends!
That it's the percentages for stealing third are higher than first to second.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I didn't, because I'm a person. I'll be honest. It's probably the most unrealistic bit. I very rarely try to steal third. I don't know why.
See, and I like to steal third, but I'm a little bit, because I don't have rated managers in here yet for the dead ball era. Yeah. I'm not doing that. And when you get into 1950s baseball, you're lucky if anybody stole a base. That wasn't an era of steals. It was the home run era was coming. The Earl Weaver idea of load them up and hit the grand slam. So
you need to get working on them, Beatles. You need.
I know I do.
Get cracking, like, you know what I mean, like.
Sure I do. I'd be getting on it now.
Have you got a good dentist like that? Stitch
So the addition of the logos really add just so much to this game that you guys. I'm so glad you did it, because that opening splash screen that you get with the two logos, that just looks amazing. So thank you for that addition.
It does. It looks fantastic. I know you don't play custom teams, but you can do custom team logos, and that's going to get easier. That's going to get easier as well.
Well, I do. I just haven't figured out how to integrate my own logo creation into this game. But I'm a graphic artist. It's one of the things I do. So yeah.
Well, it's oh, really? That's interesting you say that. So
yeah.
I may ask you a few questions, but it's easy. It's very, very easy. It's just two sizes in the custom logo folder, and that's interesting what Ken says, isn't it? Yeah. And often, I don't know how. What about ones where they're given third base, where they don't try to stop him? Where they're more than one run up and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry. They're quite easy to get in the custom logos folder. Just put two sizes in there, and it's, as long as you follow the naming procedure.
Well, then I guess I should get working on that after I rate the managers.
Yeah, well, Craig's going to make that easier, so you'll be able to just add your own logo to it. Can I ask you what people think of? Because this was going to be in the last release, but I persuaded Craig to sideline it because of all the other issues. Player picks. What do you think?
So I'll start, but guys, please chime in. I really want them, and I was even showing one night where I think artistically they would look nice. I think player picks would be excellent. I know if I bring up Diamond Mine Baseball right now, and just having those player picks there, I think they look great. Having the way I play action PC baseball, I don't like the heads on the field. That looks weird, but I do have like the pitcher and whoever's hitting. I like the pictures. And out of the park baseball, I use real pictures when I can. I hate face gen. I know Mike Silva will smack me for that, but face gen. When I saw Honus Wagner wearing a goatee, I'm like, I'm not using face gen. That doesn't.
I don't use face gen for anything.
No. So I'm all for player picks.
Well, I do love the heads on the field.
Okay, it's
But I'll tell you, but that is one thing that bugs me about Pocket Pennant Run on game day. Like when I'm doing a video, if you ever notice, I have to keep clicking because you sometimes forget who's at right field. Same. Yep. You've not got the names So you want to give more colour to your commentary. You know, that's a deep fly ball too. And then you think, I can't say that because I've forgotten who the bloody hell is it.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, because you're seeing that many players, you can't remember. Whereas you're just used to seeing those names on the field.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I didn't know. I've sort of mentioned it to Craig that we need something on the field where those players are named. You know, just it only has to be a simple naming. We don't need. I don't think he's got the real estate to have the players' pictures or anything on the field. But I think what you said the other day was similar. I think if we're having it, the batter and the pitcher at the time should be there. And also, I think if you click a player, it should show on his defensive card picture of him.
Right. So, I mean, what I was thinking here, and again, this looks so cool. Yeah. This just looks so good. So, of course, you got to play advanced. So, I was thinking in terms of like sort of the real estate. You've got all this real estate here, and digital diamond size pictures would work really nicely on either side here, and this would change with each batter. And then, of course, as you're saying, because so I don't do pre-recorded videos. Everything I do is live. So anything that is going to help me if I say fly ball to center, and if I don't know who that, because before you came on, we were going to do just a fun little game between the 64 Phillies and the 2024 White Sox. Well, I know most of the 64 Phillies. I only knew two of the guys on the 2024 White Sox, and it's like, so I can click on there we go. So I got Paul Blair, but I know that's Paul Blair. So I know you were talking about having that pick maybe in here as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or as an option, I should say. Because, I mean, you're not going to have the real estate here, but certainly having a hitter up here. And the other thing is having the pitcher. I think Craig is working on that, the handedness, so I don't have to keep looking over here. Because right now, all the pitchers are left-handed graphics, the little sprites.
Yeah, and also the colors for each team as well. You know, we've only got red and white at the moment. Red and blue at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's you that had me testing that the other day. As he sent me something about with what did I think about the pictures? Did they look handed and stuff? I said, "Who's giving you this?" He said, "Beatles. He's got as many mad ideas as you."
Yay! I'm in good company. See that? Because how many Irish people are in Liverpool? And so we got that. No, I'm half Italian, so that adds to the madness. You understand?
I do.
You do. I'm glad. So I mean, because here, if you had the player right, because each card is coming in for each batter, and I mean, if it would be a lot of coding to just have that picture switch, just like it does in Action PC baseball, and then your pitcher is going to stay. Unless you're playing modern baseball and you're going to use 7 pitchers. But I don't know.
I don't think it takes a lot to put the pictures in there. The main thing he's worried about, and I know it causes a lot of trouble on DDB. I see on the forums, a lot of time is spent because people have not got the names with the correct format.
Right. And that, I mean, that happens. So Action PC is cool about that because it gives you like 4 or 5 different options that you can use for naming conventions. And then Digital Diamond does it completely differently. It uses Baseball Reference ID, and that's the only format. But those pictures are easy to get, so I don't know which format you guys are thinking. I think the common one, though, is first underbar last dot JPEG is I think the common one. I know that's what Out of the Park uses, and that's one of the choices you have for Action PC.
And one of the things I think you should be able to do, again, bearing in mind that a lot of people who are coming to Pocket Pennant Run and playing it as Pocket Pennant Run Basic, they've never played a digital game in their life. So Craig couldn't understand how a lot of people couldn't find where their files were. I mean, I had someone write to me the other day and said, "Where have I saved my files to?" But you've got to understand, they're being dragged into the 21st century, and we've got to make it easy for them. So I think pictures needs to have the ability to turn on and off, because I agree. I mean, for instance, I spent 15 minutes the other day trying to I can't remember which player it was. In fact, it was some Irish name. I can't remember his name now, but it was a 2024 player, and it didn't show. It didn't show up in DDB, and it's because each format uses a different method of showing players who have an apostrophe in the name.
Right.
So it was like O'Hare or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
One format uses an underscore, one has the O as part of hair, one has it. Are you with me? It's all.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We don't want. We need to make it accessible to people. So I think there'll probably be two formats in it, and there are apps out there that will convert your current pictures.
Oh, easily.
But if people want it, I think it's got to be on the next release.
You talk about mad ideas, and that speaks volumes to really how good this game is. That you can, there are all these ideas. Legends has something here to add. He says, use whatever format naming convention Out of the Park uses, just because it has the biggest abundance of photo files. He's right. And what's nice is if you have both games, like Egypt, like me has, I can use the same pictures in Out of the Park, and I use them in Action PC and Digital Diamond Baseball. So I can populate 3 games with that large photo set. And yeah, Out of the Parks is immense. In fact, it's the guy's name's Cheech 441 or something like that. He does the photos for Out of the Park, and then they get over into Action PC. So Legend's a long time Out of the Park player. By the way, Paul, just off pocket pen run for a second, have you ever seen any of Legend's games and what he's doing with MLB The Show?
I was just going to say,
it's bloody incredible.
I was just going to say, because the one thing about your channel that bugs me, I can't see when you come to it. So if I don't catch it live, I like to watch the comments, but you haven't got them turned on, so I can't watch the comments.
I don't have the comments turned on? What do you mean, the comments?
So if you watch it later, you can't see the comments on your channel.
Oh, I have to turn that on then. Jeez, okay.
Apparently, yeah. So, because you can usually go to people's channels and see what was said during the chat, so as though you're live. But I can't. So I went to try and, as you turned off yesterday, I was going to go to Legends channel, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was called, so I couldn't find it. But I've just made a note of it now. So I'll be tuning into Legends, telling thanks.
You're in for a treat. It sounds like it's so the way he calls the game is like you would expect a television broadcaster to do it, and what he's doing with MLB The Show. So MLB The Show wasn't really meant to be now. And Legends, hear me out, because we had this little tete-a-tete before somebody, but I think you know where I'm coming from. So Out of the Park Baseball is really at its heart, for all its beautiful bells and whistles, it is a text-based baseball sim. It is. All right. But MLB The Show, I mean, its primary focus for a long time, and I think the way it's marketed, was kind of as a Twitch game. And I didn't know for a number of years until Legends gave me the paradigm shift and said, no, you can actually manage that game or just watch. Well, what he's done with MLB The Show is he's created this amazing all-time greats league. But each franchise has, I think, 100 players, and he has all 30 franchises. And then there's a random draft every year that brings new players on. And it's the most incredible thing that you'll ever see. And he's making this thing as like a hardcore baseball sim. I mean, he's taken that franchise mode to levels that I don't think San Diego Studios ever anticipated. And that's why I love what he's doing.
Can you just use it? I'm very interested in this. This is amazing, because my wife's in the UK and she's coming back with. I do testing for Samsung and various technology companies and new stuff. Like I've got robot legs coming in a few weeks, but that's another story. And my wife's bringing back a new projector, and it comes with it's a professional projector, and it comes with a free subscription to Xbox or PlayStation, whatever it is. And I was looking through, obviously baseball, and the show is included. It's as their number one game. But I've stayed away from the show because I didn't know this. So you can use it. You can.
Yep. So Legends mentioned this to me, and then I kind of just whatever. And because I mean, I think I met Legends back around 2020. I think it was on here, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I was trolling around YouTube one day because in 2020, desperate for baseball, and there wasn't any baseball being played yet. But it was the Mets channel, their official channel or something on YouTube, and there was a baseball game going on. And I'm like, what? Wait, they're not playing baseball. They haven't decided they're going to play baseball. It was MLB The Show. And Legend said, yeah. So you can actually just watch a game. He's rated the players, doing whatever. You can actually play it strictly as a managing sim. You don't have to pick up a controller except to move around menus.
Wow,
It's
this is
brilliant, man. And
Well,
he broadcasts.
I'll be able to have it on my projector. And
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's like watching the real thing, and more importantly, hearing the real thing. He's got such a great broadcaster's voice.
as soon as we've finished and I've had my breakfast, I'm going to go straight on to what.
Oh, you're gonna be going down a rabbit hole, my friend. Trust me.
Go down a lot of rabbit holes. So
There you are. That's all right. Never hurt Alice, did it? So.
It did not. I don't know if we've covered everything on Pocket Pennant Run. I'm happy to come on any time and talk about any baseball.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome. You know, that's the idea of this. This is not. I mean, the game is important, but the community is what's really important to me, and that's why I'd like to, tell people, look, go check out Legends, check out Clee Baseball, Fan 879. We have such a diverse community in here. We've got hardcore cards and dice players in here. We've got, we've got all sorts, which is wonderful. The one thing you won't see on this on this channel is other sports. Although I'm going to surprise everybody someday and play a game of Blood Bowl, because Blood Bowl is just, completely back.
That's where I got that from Games Workshop as well.
It's wonderful, and the digital adaptations are perfect. So Legend says they take for granted that old school fans aren't going to be into the show, so they don't market to that crowd, which is silly on their part. And I completely agree. And I wish San Diego Studios would see what you are. When you see it, Paul, you'll love it. You'll love it.
I'm going to be straight into that, so I'll be messaging Legends. I've just had a message from Craig. This is what I have to put up with. He says, "Are you finished testing for the day yet?"
You're on here doing your thing, man, and talking to we peaked out at a decent number of people.
I said
we're excited about it.
I said I want an increase in pay. He said you could have 100%.
Whoa,
200% of nothing. So that's
200% of nothing. Wow. Hey, come on, he's got to toss a quid your way here and there. Come on. I mean,
I'll tell him that.
Guys, I know Paul hasn't had his breakfast here, but it's very early there in Cyprus. Do you guys have any questions or any comments about Pocket Pennant Run? Now's your chance, at least for tonight or this morning if you're in Cyprus.
Yeah, it's 7 here.
Yeah. So again, that was my bad there on, because I thought I had said 10 o'clock, but there you are. You're here, and that's cool. So I used the first half hour like just exhorting people to join Saber and stuff like that, and to buy baseball books from eBay and things like that. So
yeah, that's good. I've got 3. When I get to Denver, I've got 3 Japanese baseball books waiting for me. I don't know if any of you ever. There's lots of free channels we can watch Japanese baseball. Have you ever seen their fans? Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
They're crazy.
They are crazy. And what is that new? There's a new baseball game out. It's supposed to be as good looking as the show. I think it's called Baseball Spirits or something. And I'm hearing a lot about that game.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to shock you and tell you now what my favorite sport in the world is. You might think it's baseball. It isn't.
What is it?
Sumo wrestling.
Sumo wrestling. Wow. Okay. So they eat that interesting shrimp stew or something to help make them huge dudes or something.
About £10 a day. And I'm actually going to the Royal Albert Hall in London in October to watch it. It's an official tournament. My wife says she's got enough looking at fat men's bottoms with mine.
Ooh.
At men in nappies on TV.
So your wife is your wife from Liverpool as well?
Well, actually, she was adopted. She's from Manchester, but when we found out she was adopted, She was actually born in Huyton in Liverpool.
Okay.
I told her there was something I must have loved about her, so that was it.
That was it. So Ken has a burning question for you. He wants to know what's for breakfast.
Well, because my wife's away, I've been eating shit for about 3 days. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. She's a juice therapist, so she's always giving me healthy stuff.
So does that mean you can't do a proper fry up then? Like a proper.
We usually have cereals for breakfast and stuff. But to give you yesterday, the night before yesterday, I had Chinese takeaway, and yesterday I had a KFC. But now I feel like shit this morning. So
well, she's not going to watch this broadcast, so you'll be fine.
Today is going to have to be a healthy day, and I'm going to have cereal for breakfast, something boring like Weetabix, and then I'll pretend she's looking over my shoulder for the rest of the day and eat healthy because I do feel like shit.
So Clinton Parks is a footballer. He says, Paul, your wife hasn't lowered herself and become a United fan?
I used to work right next door to Old Trafford, and no, not a United fan. We don't watch. I'll be honest though, I used to love football. I used to, I don't recognise it. The game now, I can't watch it. I can't watch it at all. But I used to love it back in the days. I used to go and watch George Best all the time.
So what cured me of football was I lived in Holland for 10 years, and that was enough. It was just so they're getting it. The Dutch are getting into baseball. They have the honkball hoofdklasse. And they were actually asking me to help out, helping some of these kids like actually learn how to throw a ball, swing a bat, really fun. But it's just football over there, right? And the two big teams, of course, the Rotterdam, Amsterdam kind of rivalry, Ajax and Feyenoord, right?
Yeah.
And but it's not to the level that you would find in Blighty, right? So it's not like Ajax fans and Feyenoord fans are going to have dust ups the way that you get, right? That you had back in the day. But it was so for me, so right next to where Feyenoord played, there was a baseball field, and the Dutch are really taking to baseball. In fact, won the World Baseball Classic back in 2003 or something like whenever that was. So that was pretty cool.
Well, there's something worries me about the US now. Like I've been to Chicago and I've been all over the US watching baseball. But I've been to Chicago about 14, 15 times. I go for 2 weeks, cramming as many games as possible, even at the White Sox. And go down to the White Sox and be terrified, but that's another story.
Yeah, the South Side, yeah.
Yeah, once we had to walk there because the L wasn't working. Wow.
You walked down to the South Side? Seriously? In Chicago?
They had all these security guards.
You're a braver man than I, Gunga Din.
He was absolutely terrified. So was I.
Oof.
But no, listen. Up to about 3 years ago, every time I went, I'd get a cab wherever I went, and everybody would talk about baseball. But now, like last year when I got a cab, and the year before, all anyone wants to ask me about is soccer.
Right.
And that worries me. Everyone's talking. What do you think about Liverpool's channel? What do you think about? And it's difficult for me to tell them. I'm polite, but I really need to tell them I don't care at all. But it worries me that all they want to talk about is. I say I'm here to watch the greatest game, baseball, but they don't. A lot of them don't know anything about it, so that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, football is growing here, and I mean, I think partially it's because let's face it, a football pitch is smaller than a baseball park, so there's that. And I just think that I don't know. It's baseball. In inner cities, right? Baseball is a very hard thing. We're going to get the real estate to put in a baseball park. So that's why basketball is more popular. And I know that, Major League Baseball has tried to make inroads to get people to come play baseball. Well, again, you can play half court basketball, for instance. You're fine. You're having fun. But to play baseball, you need real estate. And I think that, I think that's where football, and so everybody knows when I say football, I mean soccer. And that's part of the reason I think that football is really growing in the United States. It's again, it doesn't have a large footprint.
It's amazing because most people in the UK have not heard of most baseball stars. But I've had friends message me and ask me about Otani, and it's weird because he's getting the same sort of traction in the UK now that Michael Jordan used to get. People who'd never watched any basketball suddenly started to become NBA fans. Jordan was playing, and it's similar in the UK. I've got friends who are tuning in to baseball now to see Otani. It's interesting, isn't it? Actually,
it really is.
It's the reason I went to see the Rockies last year because they were playing the Dodgers. And first at bat he came up. I've got a picture right in front of me. I had a good seat for this one. And I was right in front of me. I got a picture of him swinging, and it was a home run. First at bat.
Oh, lovely.
Deep centre field by about a foot. Wow.
It's catching on. And I mean, it's big in Australia. They have their own major leagues there. And I know in Italy, there's the Italian. In fact, former Pittsburgh Pirate, Cervelli, right? Well, I should say it in Italian, Cervelli, Francisco Cervelli. He's headed now. He's running or director of the Italian Baseball Federation, Ireland. So when I left Ireland and I was living in Holland in between times coming to America to do my college and stuff like that. So Ireland, I'm like hanging around in Holland, and they wanted baseball umpires to come over and work in like Dublin, because it's starting to catch on a little. It's never going to take over rugby in Ireland. Never going to happen.
One of the games is it OOTP or is it one of them might be Strat.
Out of the Park has Dutch baseball.
One of them has Australian season.
Yeah, it's not Out of the Park, but I'd love to see Australian baseball brought into OOTP. That'd be cool.
It might be Strat or something. No, I saw it just last week. I thought I didn't even know they played baseball in Australia.
Oh, absolutely. They love it there. So one thing you need to ignore is this, but we'll put it up here. He says, you need to come to Boston and enjoy true history. Oh, here we go. He says, not that Pennsylvania garbage that Cousins, Beatles, and Ken tried to heap on us, plus some of the finest Italian cuisine in the U.S. Hold my beer, Clinton. Let me tell you. He's talking Pennsylvania, Boston. Give me a break here. Give me a break. Anyhow, so don't listen to Clinton. And Ken's a New Englander, so he's going to back me up. I'm not a New Englander. Ken will back me up. So Pennsylvania baseball is better than Boston baseball.
Sorry, Clinton, but the Red Sox are a no-no for me. My youngest son is I've brought them up incorrectly, because my youngest son is a Red Sox fan. And my eldest son is a Phillies fan.
So Ken would get along with your oldest son very well.
So they've gone wrong somewhere, because I picked the Cubs because at the time I'd read in the Guinness Book of Records back in 1984 that they were the most futile team in professional sports in the world. So my friend had, of course, picked the Yankees because they'd won everything. So.
Interestingly enough, although we are safe here behind our screens, so a large part, and don't worry about it, but a large part, and we love them, a large part of this community, a large percentage are Red Sox fans. It's really astounding how many Red Sox fans in this community. It's crazy.
I know, it's true. Even on play games, everyone, when I was meeting people last year, there was a lot of Red Sox fans.
Yeah, there's a few Cubs fans, there's a few Bucco fans, but yeah, Red Sox fans, they're all over the place. You know,
somewhere to get good baseball, don't they?
Yeah,
they have to go to their screens. They can't see it on the field.
But I promise you more Cubs games. I will. But might be some older Cubs teams though. I'm particularly fascinated with the Cubs in the 1930s. They had some really strong teams in the 30s. The 38 Cubs, the 32 Cubs.
Yeah, I've run a lot of seasons in the 30s.
Yeah, lots of good Cubs teams, and that's the things that made people think of the Cubs. It's interesting you make that comment about them being the most futile team, and yet if you look at their history, while they didn't, it took them from 1908 until 2016 to actually win a World Series. They were in quite a few, and they were strong. And like their hated rivals, the Cardinals, more times more times than not, the Cubs were in the thick of the race. They were tough. They weren't like this rollover franchise. They have a very proud history, and I like both teams. I tend to like the Cardinals better, but there's much about and I remember seeing my first game at Wrigley, and it was just wow. Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, this is where Charlie Root, right through the apparently, right, Babe Ruth's called shot in the 1932 World Series, and Charlie Root, of course, said if he had done that, I would have put the monkey on his ear. But so I'm in this place where Riggs Stevenson played, but Lou Gehrig also played, and Honus Wagner, played here at Wrigley, and then all the Cubs greats, Stan Hack Wilson, Fergie Jenkins. Wow.
When I went to Wrigley for the first time, back in about 1990s, I can't remember, it was 90, sometime in the 90s. And as I came up the steps and I saw the field, I almost sank to my knees.
Isn't it?
I thought, wow, this is the most beautiful. This is the most beautiful stadium and the most beautiful sport in the world. You know what I mean?
It is.
I mean, we all know, don't we, the film Field of Dreams, but even my wife went last year for the first time to baseball because she doesn't watch any. And she said afterwards, wow, that was amazing. She loved it. And she said, I understand what they're talking about in the film Field of Dreams now, and where James Earl Jones, says he's got the baseball encyclopedia.
The monologue, yes.
Where the feel of having that baseball encyclopedia in your hands was like, wow. You felt like you were holding something holy. And when he says people will come, Ray, people will most definitely
People will come. Absolutely.
It's amazing. And that's how we all feel about baseball, isn't it?
That does unite us all here. I mean, we do, for the most part, we do set aside our, a lot of different political ideologies here. This is largely more of a conservative community, but they accept me. They know I'm a liberal. But you know what? We're all here because of baseball. We love the game. We love its rich history. We get into some wonderful, sometimes rather spirited arguments, discussions, let's say, about baseball. But they're always good. At the end of the day, we all know we're going to come back together and just do it again and have fun.
Well, I used to be a political animal in the UK. I did. I'll be honest with you. I was.
Were you a Tory?
I was a young blue. A young true blue, and I was there on Downing Street when Maggie Thatcher was elected.
Okay.
In those days, you could go down, but you know what? What I am now is I'm nothing. I'm completely disillusioned with politicians in the UK, the world over.
The world over, yeah.
I say I'm a humanitarian. I know that sounds pathetic. You might think people
not at all.
Left or right might think that I'm opting out, but really, there's no politician has shown me that they're worth their salt or that they've got any morals, or a lot of them are just career politicians. As you know, I was someone last week. I've no time for people. I'm here to discuss baseball. Someone started interrogating me last week, as you know. And
I do know.
Helping him with Pocket Pennant run, and he started giving me a load of abuse about political. I hadn't even mentioned anything. And he just started abusing me, and then started abusing my children and stuff.
Well, you also I hope you noticed that conspicuous absence. I dealt with that.
Yes, I did.
And I told him, you have to apologize. You have to apologize, or you're not welcome here. So he doesn't have a wrench beside his name. And if he's listening now, he's got to be man enough to apologize, because I know, I just wanted you to know that was dealt with.
I appreciate that support, and really, people like that, they don't matter to me. But I've not got time to waste.
Right.
When to talk about baseball and sports, we can have as many arguments about whether you mistakenly like the Cardinals, or I love the Cubs, or the evil empire Yankees. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's your choice. That's your choice. and you have the right to support or have as many opinions as you want about
Absolutely.
baseball. But as long as we do it with respect, that's
With respect.
Someone Clinton's asking, "This is your game." No, I'm not affiliated with the game at all, but I am the official tester apparently now because Craig was that frightened of all the abuse he got from nobody on here. That's interesting you say about Green Fox, Clinton, because I can't remember who invented Green Fox, but I don't use it at all.
He has a Polish last name. That's all I remember. I have Green Fox. It's interesting, but what kind of ruined Green Fox for me was Pocket Pennant Run. Green Fox is cool. It's really cool, but
I think Craig is. I think he's just supplying the links to Green Fox out of some loyalty from the beginning, but I don't know if that association it doesn't continue in any meaningful way. And to be honest, I'm not going to rubbish Green Fox because I don't know anything about it. But it looked as though it took too much time for my liking to set up, so I've not used it properly. So
I played with it. I like it, but this took my heart. It just took my heart, just the same way that the other like Action PC. So Paul, before you go, I wanted to ask you a question, and kind of fun little questions here. But this one I find, and I don't know whether this is something that maybe you and Craig have ever had an old chinwag about or something, but we are in among gamers. We are niche among gamers, right? So we're still the geeks, the sports gamers, right? People are coming out, celebrities, everybody. Oh yeah, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I play Magic the Gathering, whatever, and all thanks to a comedy called Big Bang Theory, right? So it became cool. But for us, we're kind of like, I think other gamers look at us and say, what? As they're setting up their Warhammer armies, they're like, what, you play baseball sims? It's weird. But what I wanted to ask you, have you guys sensed at all any measure of sort of intransigence of people that are not wanting to try the game because it's not Strat or APA or Status Pro or one of the older, more established games? I mean, has there been any sort of commentary that you've noticed about that?
To be honest, until the dice were included, a simple thing like the dice, I hadn't had any Strat people or APA write to me at all, or Craig. But suddenly, bizarrely, as soon as the dice were included, people have been writing and asking. In fact, the number of people who wrote complaining that the APA dice were wrong, and that was down to me, by the way. That was my fault. I missed that in the final testing.
Pitchforks and torches, lads.
Right. And then in the final one, I didn't check the dice on that because I don't own the game. But the number of people who wrote to me about that, and I wrote to all of them and asked, so you're going to play this? Oh, absolutely, we'll play it. Sure. So I've not met, nobody's written negative thoughts, but what they did, they just didn't contact us at all before the dice were included in it. They didn't realise play. And also, of course, I got Craig to add the option that says no dice, because I did get a lot of people writing to me and saying,
well, coming up in this next fix, Ken, they will be fixed. It'll be done.
It's fixed, Ken. I've tested it. It's right. It was a simple fix. It was just, as I say, my fault.
So Ken is thinking about using this in a project. And so just so you know a bit about Ken Castro, there's one digital game that he tolerates, and we're not talking about this one. So apart from this one is Diamond Mine Baseball. He will have nothing to do with Out of the Park, except for when we do the McGreevy League, which we'll be revisiting, using Out of the Park 26. It's going to be the best engine for it. But it's only Diamond Mine. But now he's showing some interest in this, and this guy is hardcore cards and dice. Hardcore.
Okay,
rolls every game. So, yep.
It's interesting, Ken. If I can talk directly to you, then the aim of this, I played Diamond Mine, and I've still got it way back. You have to type in DM and everything. I remember it was, and the engine is fantastic on Diamond Mine. I know that, but I wanted a game that was accessible to people, but that was still detailed. So you come on here and you can you can name any two teams now, and we can be playing them within a minute. So any teams in history, and I've actually blown people's mind with this. People have come on.
I do, Clinton.
I can see that.
Clinton is as hardcore. Yes, he is.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Clinton. That's, you're the mainstay of the people like you are the mainstay of the community, aren't they? We all have our own individual. But the thing about this game, you can come onto it, you can play it. As I say, if you're traveling, even you can play any game from history. Within a minute, you're playing that game live on your screen.
Right.
And once we have the pictures on the screen, we've already got the logos. That game can come alive in your mind straight away. And it was as simple as that. That we wanted something that was detailed. And if you want to roll, you can roll any dice game, and you can record this on here. And
so I'll remind you guys while Paul's talking. So again, I think people were getting confused about seeing the dice as, I can, because Robert has said, what, no inside pitch? Of course you can have inside pitch. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go to change dice and then just do board game assistant, no dice. Now you're ready to rock. It doesn't matter what dice are on the screen.
And I'm glad you covered this, Beatles, because in the future, in probably the next release, will be the ability to put your own dice.
Oh, wow. Did you guys hear that? You know why that excites me? Sports Illustrated baseball, because I want to be able to do Sports Illustrated, because there's a digital adaptation called Dombrov baseball. Thing is Richard is a nice guy, but he hasn't put out an update for that game in ages, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Oh.
And I love Sports Illustrated baseball.
How many dice does that have?
If you guys want to hold your ears, I'll show you. You got to hold your ears because the opening music is bizarre, and please pardon the splash screen. I didn't do it. I've offered Richard, hey, listen, I'm an artist. I'd love to do your splash screen, but didn't happen. Hold your ears for a second, guys. Here we go. So that's an acid trip. This is like John Lennon before he wrote Tomorrow Never Knows or something. So if we play an exhibition game in Dombrov baseball, and this is there are a couple adaptations of this. Again, this has pretty much every season, things like that. I'm just going to pick two teams at random. We're not going to play a game, but there we'll put the Cubbies. And we'll play them against the Cardinals. And there you go. And let's just do this. And okay, you got to really plug your ears for this, because this is a really bad rendition of America's national anthem. And it doesn't last long, but it sounds like a dirge. Ready? It's almost over.
I've actually got this, but never actually loaded it up.
It's not a bad game. It doesn't stream well at all. But let me fix this so you guys can see what the dice look like. And so as a magician, I have like dice that I can just make up, so I can do that. But if you can, let me show you just what they look like. As soon as I figure out how to change the game mode, you can see it's. Oh, there we go. I think it's options. So where did it go? Where does it go? Where did it go? Oh my God. Settings. There it is. So we go to settings and we go to, I think it's player cards. And I want to show the dice roll here. As you can see, this is really kind of, it's pretty dense. It's not a good interface at all. But there you go. Where are the dice? There they are. So those are the dice. There's what you're seeing, Paul. So they're, I don't know if you can see it very well or not.
Is it six dice? I can't see.
Right. So there's a black die and there's two white die, but then you have these and then your play results down here. So
because Craig was looking, and his limitations, I think, are 7 dice.
Yeah, this is all it uses. This is it. Is what you're seeing up here. So again, I don't play it with the dice. I play it as a baseball sim, but this is what it looks like. So you have a black die and then 2 white die, but it's the numbers on them. They look like D6s, but they're not. The faces are a little bit different. I would have to research it a little bit for you. But again, I don't know. Hey, AP, welcome in. I don't know how many people played Sports Illustrated Baseball. I like it. I think it was a good game system. Not colorblind friendly, as you can see, though. But this is a digital adaptation of Sports Illustrated.
This was before Status Pro, then, yeah.
So this came out. This game, the original Sports Illustrated Baseball, came out in either 70 or 71. It only lasted a couple years. Only a few seasons available for it. So Richard Dombrowski, who was a longtime Action PC baseball player and did some neat roster sets for it, decided to make his own baseball game. And what he made was Sports Illustrated Baseball. But this also uses the Laman database, and there's a lot of there's probably about 100 seasons you can download for this. They're free.
That's interesting. So if you hover over a player, the picture comes up.
Yep. If you hover over the picture, player comes up. It's a decent game. It just doesn't, and I'll show you why it doesn't stream well. Why Pocket Pennant Run actually streams better. Okay. So if we go back to this, and we'll play it just as a baseball sim. Okay. And let me save my settings here. All right. So one thing is it doesn't so Pocket Pennant Run doesn't use animation, and that nothing wrong with that. So if I do a click, who do we got up here? So Jose Cardinal leading off here against Bob Gibson. And I've got, okay, so Cardinal draws a walk. So he's on, and you get his run rating, stuff like that. Okay. I don't know why there's no sound, but here's Cassinger. I want somebody to get a hit. So then you'll see what I mean about there. I have no way of telling what that is, because a fly ball and a base hit look the same in this game.
Oh, I see.
And that's a bit of a problem. So that's why it doesn't stream well. It's nice looking. The player cards look really, really nice actually in this game too.
It looks better than Strat though.
Oh my God, yes, it looks way better than Strat. Yep.
When I was in Denver last year, that one of the star speakers was I forgot his surname now, Jim from Stratomatic. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, AP, I agree that Dombrov baseball is a good game. It just doesn't. It's just to broadcast a Dombrov game, it's too hard.
Jim is the person who does all the ratings, I think, for Strat, and he was arguing with me about, in a good-natured way, about why I preferred Status Pro, and but I said, okay, I'll go away and I'll get Strat again, and then I found out a couple of things bugged me. I had to buy the game again. I couldn't download 2020 version free again and all sorts of stuff. But when I got the game up, I couldn't believe that the Windows version, it hasn't really changed. It's exactly the same format.
It is. It is.
I was like, wow, I can't play this. I can't.
Worst interface I've ever seen in a digital baseball game is Strat PC.
I just can't play it. It just looks like wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit shite. It's a bit shite.
It is shite. It's a lot shite. I know you can't say that because otherwise Strat people will have me by the throat. But.
So no, they know. I mean, so as far as the Strat game itself, the cards and dice game and whatever, it's superb. It's superb. I mean, you've got a 63, 64-year-old baseball game. They've had to have done something right. Same with APA. They've been around since 51. But the PC game, that's the most Byzantine interface I've ever seen. And to try to create things like custom leagues in Strat, it's I have very long hair, but when I used to play Strat PC, I had very short hair from pulling it out. I was on the Strat boards every day. I just want to create this, or I want to create that. I can do this in other games. Why can't I do it in yours? And yours is really expensive. And that interface is awful. It's awful.
I will never play it. It's here on my shortcuts, but I'm just never going to play it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play the cards and dice game, but I will not play the PC game.
Can we talk about have we got time for a
We
few
have all the time in the world.
a weird game that I don't understand at all. No one in the gaming community can tell me anything about it. I do have it because I'm a completist. I signed up for a month just so I got a few teams. Baseball Classics. What a weird game that. What a weird website that is. Have you ever been to baseball? Have you ever been to Baseball Classics?
No, let's visit. Let's
Oh,
visit while you're talking about it.
wow, this is such a weird. Yeah, Baseball Classics.
I'm just going to do it this way because God knows what you're going to come up with. There we go. Baseball Classics board game. Here we go.
Yeah, this guy thinks he's I don't know, a Windows salesman or something, or encyclopedia. But every day there's join dollar. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So you know what, Paul? I almost bought into this until I kept reading. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
All these Baseball Classics books, but they're all ones you can just get free online anyway. And this magazine is just written by AI. When you come down to it, the cards look great. They're all multicolored.
Mm-hmm. They are.
And I decided to. I don't know if I should say this online, but by mistake he sent me a link to 2024. So I downloaded the teams that I needed, and I play a few games on it. And Craig, it's the reason that the Baseball Classics dice are included in Pocket Pennant Run, because that was purely self-interest, because I play a few games on it. But wow! And then he introduced Baseball AI, and so the first question I asked it was, who's got the most steals for the Cubs in history? Simple question.
Mm-hmm.
In some it's Sandberg, and in some it's my brain's gone. Anyway, doesn't matter. It said that question was too complicated for it to answer. But anyway, that's a weird game, but it's worth spending 10 minutes and looking through that site, because wow, you'll get your mind will be blown by who's buying it. But the thing is this: there's no forums for it.
No.
Nobody mentions it, and I keep asking people, who's got this game? Who has got it? Who plays it? Never get anything back. And I
don't know. Any of you guys in the community play this game? Have any of you tried it? I almost bought into it until I dug deep into the site, and I'm like, no, I'm not buying this.
Buy the physical game. It's about $200, I think.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
And the guy, he's like he seems personable, Dean, the inventor, but he comes back and just bluffs you out. You know what I mean? I mean,
he's a used car salesman, man. That's what he sounds like to me.
That's it. You sold out. What's he mean? Sold out? It's not sold out at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just there's a lot of, I don't know who's buying it. Maybe people for Christmas for their kid. I don't know. But and then there's two other positive ones. I bought Payoff Pitch.
Great game.
I've actually got the digital, but I've ordered to go to my mate so I can pick it up when I go to Denver. So I'm gonna. But the guy who invented, who is the owner of Payoff Pitch, he's got a mate called Steve Shaw, and Steve has just brought out his own game, High Leverage Baseball.
Oh, you told me about that. Let's look at that.
I think it comes up under something else.
Paul, if you're getting hungry, let me know, because I know you haven't had your brekkies yet and all that, you know?
No, while you're just looking that up, I'm just going to get a drink of water. Are you okay?
Yeah, please do. Please do. So AP never tried Baseball Classics. I looked at it, and again, I'm like, oh, this looks really cool, and started digging down into it. And I'm like, whoa. And then if you add this, and for $79, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Not that I expect or want every game to be like out of the park baseball, or indeed Pocket Pennant Run and give me everything. But, you know, if I'm paying what it would cost me to buy a, you know, I don't know, a pretty nice vehicle, I don't know. FedEx doesn't pay that well. And I don't have that many Magic gigs yet.
The reason I like this game is he did a video of the instruction book, and a lot of games lose it for me on the manual. I mean, there's one American football game I play, and the same guy does hockey, and the manual, I just have to run it through AI first because I can't understand it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this guy, he's put together a great manual, and everything is neat and it looks fantastic. You know, so I'll report back on that once he's only just brought it out, so he's only got one season,
Okay.
and he does. And he's just a guy on his own who's producing it. So I'll report back on it, but it's another one to possibly support. He's a little expensive. I told him that $49.99 for one season of PDF is pretty expensive, but
Oh yeah.
we shall see. You know, because you've got to bear in mind the cost of all. We're all buying all these games. But I'll report back on that after Denver in June. So
Yeah, that'd be nice to know, John. Yes, I have played. I played Appa Master when I was an undergraduate. So in order of preference for me back then was Status Pro, and then Appa, and then Strat in that order. So, and played Strat Super Advanced too, by the way. But now, if you were to ask me, you know, that's why. Oh, by the way, Paul, I don't know if you know, I had. It was really cool. I had Clee Baseball Fan 879, so he's a hardcore Strat head. We did a complete 9-inning game using Pocket Pennant Run as the board game assistant. No hitches at all. It was beautiful. Thing of beauty. So you might want to pass that on to Craig.
Who was that? Who was that? Sorry, I missed his name.
His name's Clee Baseball Fan 879. Tim is his name, and he rolls Strat. And I mean, he's so old school that for his scoreboard, he uses like just this elongated piece of paper. Great guy. Tim knows baseball inside and out. And, you know, I said, hey, I'd really like somebody to volunteer to roll up a game. And, you know, we're going to do the results in Pocket Pennant Run. And so he was on the mic and he mixed it up from Strat Advanced, Super Advanced, and Pocket Pennant Run. Handled it like a champ.
That's fantastic.
Yep. Now, if I can get an Appa guy on here to do the same thing, that would be amazing too.
Do you know you play DDB, don't you? Do you ever use Status Pro Advanced within it?
I haven't tried it yet. Not Status Pro Advanced in it. No, I haven't.
It's amazing.
Is it?
It's you know, for realism, I love all these games, but you know, it's like Status Pro on steroids, and he reworked, because Derek, as you know, he's reworked all of the Status Pro traditional game as well. He's got version 4, and as you know, he's working with Mark. But Status Pro Advanced, his own game, is like he's reworked all the original formulas. So there was too many F2s in it, for instance. So, and I know in DDB you could actually adjust that for the percentage. But Derek's got that all built into the cards. The CD ratings, fantastic. He has errors 1 to 20. It's just such a detailed engine.
Derek knows his baseball.
Wow.
Derek knows baseball.
I'm telling you, I've got a video up where I played a game on it last week. I think it was just a regular season game. And it was a really good game. But that was using Status Pro Advanced. It's worth out people who haven't got experience of it, just have a look at the cards and how it works out, because it calculates all of the SP ratings for you automatically. It changes, and I think in the new version it's going to do the fatigue automatically for you as well in DDB. So
nice. What I like what you've done here, even though I love the fact, and you know, it's interesting because you mentioned we've been talking a bit about Digital Diamond Baseball, is that people weren't. I've been playing it since version 3, and I've always liked the game. My big knock on Digital Diamond Baseball, again, because of the way I play, to set up libraries, and actually, if you go to their site, I do have a couple of and they're under my old Italian name. I did a couple sort of best ofs for Digital Diamond Baseball, and you can still download them and use them. But doing multi-team, like from different years, to set up a library in Digital Diamond Baseball is still a bear. That's my only not that, and the I need to. I keep saying this every year. I got to send Mark Cohen a really nice polyphonic, because I'm also a musician, of take me out to the ball game, because that monophonic thing just, yeah. But my big gripe in the game, right? You want to do a season replay in Digital Diamond Baseball, 1, 2, 3 clicks, whatever, you're in. But if I want to play the 19, creating like something with the 1917 White Sox and the 1925 Pirates and whatever, it's such a bear to create a league like that when there's other games that do it a lot easier. And I hope Mark in the future will kind of make that process easier, because library management's a bit of a drag in that game for that.
Well, I might. You've encouraged me. I might do a few live broadcasts in future, because it's a great way to talk to find out what people want straight away. And maybe I can just go on Pocket Pennant run, and the first 2 people up can choose the teams we're going to play, and we can play those against each other. And as you know, that can be up literally within a minute. We're playing those teams.
Oh yeah, and it's fun, and I mean, it just what we did in our McGreevy league, which I had briefly thought about doing McGreevy, actually even in Pocket Pennant run, but again, the 19th century in the dead. But the McGreevy league is a league that's 1871 to 1919, so this game's not ready for prime time for that, because I've got to do my bit. And Ken Castro is going to help, by the way. He's going to help with the 19th century part of it. But it was really fun. People get really invested in it. And because this is so inexpensive. I mean, this is free if you just buy the game. God, that's the other thing. What you can do in Pocket Pennant run, it's pretty, you're only limited by your imagination. And I love that about this game.
I think the print and play is about, is it $14.95 or something?
$14.99 for the PDF, or $24.99 for the physical game.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
I know. I keep telling Craig, I'm like, you're giving this thing away. And I even bought the mats and everything. I really wanted to support these guys, and I love it. I love this game. I mean,
for cards and dice guy, I don't know if you know, but all of the things that's in advanced. I think you might have mentioned this. Craig is going to be bringing that out in the physical version at some stage this year.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great. And again,
they want to pay homage. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
They want to pay homage to the people who supported them right at the beginning. Those original guys who were looking for simple, straightforward game. But with this one, you'll be able to play it advanced as well, so you're not losing out by just having the cards and dice.
And that's what I like too about that, because my thing with Pocket Pennant run is I tell people, when you first get it, play a couple games of basic just to get the flow. But once you play advanced, you won't go back.
Yeah.
It's I won't play this game in basic now. It's just, forget it. And you know what? We keep saying it's a simple baseball game, but there's a lot going on here.
What do you think about those advanced ratings and slumps and stuff for the future? Do you think it's worth exploring those?
Yeah, I do. I really, really do. I think because you're going to get, rather than just having that sort of binary, you either are or you aren't, right? That I like the fact, because you think about baseball, and some of the guys, I've told them what I've grown up around, so you can imagine being Italian and Irish. So not only the a certain army, but also a certain Italian organization. And so, and from that side, those guys, and I know a lot of professional gamblers and stuff, and as a magician, we kind of gravitate in those worlds as well. They say that if you're a crazy person if you bet on baseball, because it's so you never know. This is probably the most unpredictable sport as far as a team sport, and I think having those sort of things that you were talking about, the halves, as you will, using that term, I think would be brilliant, because I think then you're more accurately mirroring what goes on in baseball.
Well, the unpredictability is the thing. You can sit down at a game then, and you just don't know what's good. Is he going to perform to his best today? Is he going to slump? He's a half B. Is he going to be a B full today, or is he going to? Yeah,
right.
I think it's got possibilities. I'd say quite a bit of working out, obviously. But
but it's incredible. I mean, and if I had Craig on here, I mean, look, just poking around a little bit. This is programmed in Python, which is a high level compute. So dealing with a high level computing language, there's really a lot of work that goes into this when you're talking about 3,000 lines of code. So we're not talking about, this isn't done in C++. He's doing this in Python, which is a great language. I've encountered it in virtual studio technology with music, and the things you can do with Python is amazing. And with the plans that you guys are talking about with this, but to me, Paul, this is no longer a simple little game. I think if you go back to version 2 with just the ratings and nothing else, okay. But this is becoming, I think this is really my opinion, maybe, and it is my opinion. I think this is going to be a serious player up there with Appa and Strat. I really, really do.
Well, I think your channel has done a lot to get traction in the community, because people respect you. And on every site I go, people say to me, "Have you seen Beatles' latest video?" and stuff like that, And I didn't know who they were talking about at first. People kept saying to me,
well, you didn't even know who I was, because I had IM'd you a few times because I thought I'd mentioned my real name a couple times on here. And my last name, I am Irish, even though or Irish and Italian, but my last name sounds Scottish, but there are actually Irish McGregors as well. And you said, "Oh, it's you."
I dismissed it because I just thought that was somebody Scottish, you see.
Yeah. No, I'm not a Manky Scots git, so.
Anyway, I'm gonna go and have my breakfast, unless.
All right.
But I'm happy to come on whenever anybody wants. So
you are welcome, Paul. Everybody, just give Paul some love, please. Just subscribe to his channel.
Just before I go, I'll just give you. Craig's away for 2 days, so I'm going to be doing final testing today on this latest version, and hopefully, towards the end of the week, that will be out. So it's got a lot of. It should flow even better for anybody that's come across any glitches. Like I say, all the lineouts, double plays. Thanks to everybody, and as I say, if you need any questions, just message me direct. I'm happy to spend any time with you getting it working and set up how you want.
All right, Paul. Top.
Thanks, Joe. Take care.
Right.
Take care. I'll speak soon.
All right, my friend.
Bye.
So there we go, guys. We didn't even get in a game, but thank you for hanging in with us tonight, Paul. What a character! Is a good guy. Tells it like it is, and again, he doesn't get a penny at all from doing what he's doing. He's doing it because he believes in the game, and AP's liking the game, and for Ken Castro to even be considering it in a project, I think says a lot about this game. So you 20 people out there that are kind of lurking and haven't said anything, you got and again, Clinton, I don't know if Clinton is going to pick this up, but I know Ken has been talking about it. So for Ken Castro to give something like this that is not right, to give it some consideration to use in one of his projects, that's very, very high praise. And I don't get a penny from Pocket Pennant Run either. I love the game. I show games on this channel that I love, some more than others. And there's something about this game that just enchants me. It really does, if I may be permitted to use such a word. So that's pretty much it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And mea culpa for the first half-hour sermon or homily on joining Sabre and buying baseball books, but I stick by my guns on those. So I don't know if you have any questions, if there's anything you guys, any ideas for any baseball games, because I don't want to just stay on that tournament or people are going to burn out on it. So there's lots of things we can do. Send me some suggestions about maybe some things you'd like to see. We'd thought about some ideas in the channel of picking just a game in baseball history, playing it, whether it's in Pocket Pennant Run or any baseball game that I have, and maybe just talking about that game and whatever. Let me know, because I'm always open to ideas. You're welcome, cousin. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for pitching in and asking questions of Paul and just being who you are, this awesome, awesome, awesome family. Aaron, I don't know if Dombrov is accessible or not. I don't think that he's using any weird APIs. So I'm guessing that like Action PC, it probably is. There's a free trial version that you can get, Aaron, and it's pretty much fully functional. So just go on his site. In fact, I'll bring the site up and I'll put it in chat for you. So that way you don't have to spend a penny on it. And you can see, because it does have a free version, and check it out. So let me bring it up again. It's I really wish Richard would let me even send a few proofs and say, let me fix this, because the older version of Dombrov Baseball looks really, really, really nice. But I can't say the same about this. So here's the free edition, and I am going to put the link to the free edition on here. This is a paid game. Thanks, Parallel League, for hanging in. Next time you come in, you get a wrench, by the way, because you've been here enough times now. So, Aaron, there it is. So the free edition comes with nearly all the features of the purchase game, but some of the key features will have limited use. You can check out the free program for as long as you like, but we hope it compels you to make a purchase. Be sure to select the correct download so that this can run on Windows or Mac. And it's he really does offer a lot. Once you get past the really bad 1970s trippy kind of whatever here, there's a good game here. So quickly, and I'll go ahead and shut this so that we can stay on a Pocket Pennant run. The big update that he had been touting that I'm waiting for, because it's still not working properly, is that you can now, or theoretically, you were supposed to be able to import all this cool data directly from Baseball Reference. Still doesn't work. It crashes like crazy. Because what it does is, let's say you're trying to do, it'll work with modern baseball, but I was trying it with the usual season that I experiment with everything with, and that's 1929. What it does, though, is it tries to bring in the 1929, I believe they're called the Philadelphia Stars, the Negro League team. And it can't figure out that there are three teams in Philadelphia there, the Phillies, the Athletics, and again, I think it's the Stars. And it keeps crashing. It keeps trying to bring in the Negro League team, but thinking it's the 1929 Philadelphia A's. And so Richard had sent me a patch a few months ago. I'm not knocking Richard, but this has been like 4 months ago. He sent me a patch, and it still crashes. So until that happens, I'm not going to show Dombrov on here, because there's some features I want to show to be able to use that. I think importing from Baseball Reference is brilliant, because you're going to be getting stats, deep stats that you're not going to get in other games. And I'm really hoping for that in Dombrov Baseball. So Richard, I don't know if you ever come to this channel, you know my real name. I helped, in a couple things. I do hope that you can get the Baseball Reference import working, because it's not right now. But check it out, Aaron. Let me know. And that's about it. If you guys, AP or guys like that, if you guys want to see some Dombrov games on here, I'd be certainly happy to do them. Not a problem. It's a lot of fun. I can show you guys around the game. Just visually understand that a fly ball and a base hit look the same. So there's no Z plane, if you will. If you think in 3D coordinates, there's no Z plane in Dombrov Baseball. Not really. But it's a good game. It's a good game. And with that, I guess that's it, as somebody else joins and they miss Paul Face, so they're going to be very upset that it's just myself. I want to make a special thanks, if you're listening in or watching tonight, to the user who just gave me this wonderful story again last night, commenting on the APA PC Baseball, the Ernie Harwell game. I like to do those occasionally. I do those mainly for guys to listen to at work or while they're rolling up a game. But your story really, really, really touched me. And again, just reinforced my belief in the beauty of baseball to bring people together, no matter your creed or lack thereof, your political ideology or anything. And when people share their stories of baseball, cousin Ken Castro shared with me one time about the very first baseball game he saw. So as a surprise, in Out of the Park Baseball, we did the first game he ever saw. And I love it. And I love when you guys share those sorts of memories, because it's a beautiful game. And, it does. I mean, to parrots, the Ken Burns baseball documentary, it does bring generations together. I can go back to 1932 and talk about a 300 hitter, and that fan knows that concept, right? Baseball has that number, 714, 406, 56. And everybody in here knows what those numbers mean. And it doesn't matter what our backgrounds are. And I'm so glad that we've come together. I'm glad that this family is growing, and I take no credit for that at all. It's everything that we're doing together. And let's keep doing it. And I promise you, this will never be monetized. Ever, 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 ever. Nothing ever is going to be behind a paywall. It's all out there. And I welcome suggestions. And please, APBA guys, I'm begging you. I want somebody that plays APBA that's not mic shy. You don't even have to do any commentary. Just say, yep, I rolled this, and this is the result. Because I'd like to do this. We did it with Strat. I'd like to do a game of Pocket Pennant Run with APBA. At least think about it. All right. We've been on way too long for me to thank everybody. So I just have to thank you one and all for coming in tonight. And we're going to continue with this mad experiment that we're doing here together on this family. All right. Good night, everybody. Until the next time I see you, be good, play lots of baseball, watch lots of baseball, read it, join Saber, and we'll see you around the batting cage. Good night.